Well, hello everyone. Welcome to Rocket Sports Media live stream watch along. Montreal Canadiens taking on the Philadelphia Flyers tonight. I'm here joined by my colleague Nathan. My name is Michael. I'm the host of the Canadiens Connection podcast. And make sure that you give me a follow at Habs Connection on Twitter. And Nathan, welcome tonight. Are you excited for another live stream watch along?
Oh yeah, I'm always excited to do these live stream watch-alongs with you and with our viewers. Looking forward to the Habs playing the Flyers tonight.
Absolutely. It should be a fun one. Just a few reminders for everyone, just in case you didn't know. We produce a ton of Montreal Canadiens content. Head over to thn.com/Montreal to find all of our coverage right there on there. For tonight, you will find tonight's game preview as the Montreal Canadiens take on the Philadelphia Flyers. So get up to date and check that out. Also, give us a follow on Twitter at Rocket Sports, on Facebook at Rocket Sports Media Inc., Instagram, it's Rocket Sports Media, and you can check out our podcast at CanadiensConnection.fm. What to expect tonight? If you've not been with us before, you'll get some live play-by-play commentary. We have tons of great hockey topics to get through as well. Of course, we cover the Habs primarily, but we are also going to talk a little bit of Philadelphia Flyers. If you want to hang out until the second intermission, we have a very special guest prepared to join us and talk about the Philadelphia Flyers. If you're a frequent person that comes by this channel, you'll know Amy Johnson. She covers the Montreal Canadiens and the Laval Rocket on this YouTube channel. So make sure that you hit subscribe, like, and if you haven't already checked it out, check out some of the great content on this channel. So looking forward to that. And this should be one fun game tonight. Nathan, what are your predictions?
Well, my predictions tonight, it's going to be a Montreal Canadiens win, 4-2 tonight for the Canadiens.
Oof. Bold prediction. And I'll welcome everyone into the chat to send in your score predictions for tonight's game. We'll take those right up until the end. So if you're in the chat already, make sure that you say hello and let us know along the way. If you're watching on a TV, though, make sure you grab your phone, tablet, or laptop. Join us on YouTube as well. Tune into the live stream, and you'll be able to access the live chat from there. Already starting to get a few messages along the way with HW Radio chiming in with Go Flyers, have a good show, boys. So thank you, HW Radio. We appreciate that and all the support along the way here. So make sure you get into that live chat. For me, I'm actually predicting a Philadelphia Flyers win. They're currently on a 2-game losing streak, but I'm thinking they're going to go 4-3. I think we're going to see quite a few goals tonight. What do you think about that, Nathan?
Well, you know what? It's pretty close. I mean, I was kind of thinking that, but I was like, the Habs didn't win against the Flyers last game, and I'm hoping they do it this time around.
Yeah, absolutely. We did cover the last time these two teams met up. We had a ton of fun, and that one actually went all the way to a shootout. Anyone think this is going to head to the shootout? Please let us know in that live chat there. And as we set things up, we have a couple of young goaltenders hitting the net tonight for the Philadelphia Flyers. It's Samuel Urson, who made a start against Montreal Canadiens last time we streamed. And for the Montreal Canadiens, it's one Caden Primo, the Philadelphia native. Actually, his father, Keith Primo, played for the Flyers, so there's a nice connection there. What do you think about this goaltending matchup?
I think it's going to be pretty interesting. I mean, we saw Urson last game when the Habs played the Flyers back in January. But, Caden Primo is having a pretty good season. He's been, doing pretty well this season. And I'm looking forward to him playing the Philadelphia Flyers tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. Urson taking over the net in the absence of Carter Hart. And, of course, Felix Sandstrom playing backup. John Tortorella expressed, I guess more with his body language, that he wasn't a huge fan of Sandstrom. Later apologized, but, of course, Felix Sandstrom being put in a bit of a tough position. I think he probably would benefit from some more AHL time. But of course, these Philadelphia Flyers lacking a little bit of depth in goal right now. So looking at the chat here, we have the Canadiens Connection chiming in, and make sure that you continue to send in some more chats along the way. We'll throw it up on the screen just like we did for this. And welcome to HW Radio, high and wide. Sounds like a Gaston Gingras slap shot. So there you go. Nathan, this should be a pretty fun matchup. And as we just wait for the puck drop here, who is going to be out tonight for the Montreal Canadiens?
Out for injuries.
Yeah,
We're gonna have a little list of injuries for Montreal. Christian Dvorak, Kirby Doc, and Joshua Waugh is going to be out for the Montreal Canadiens tonight.
absolutely. And healthy scratches, Tanner Pearson and Jonathan Kovacevic. For the Flyers, quite a few defensemen not able to play tonight. One of them being Ryan Ellis, who, of course, has not played in a long, long time. But to add to that list, Ristolainen, Drysdale, and Nick Seeler. So that's a pretty banged up back end for the Philadelphia Flyers. Not only lacking some depth in goal, but that defense, it's not had some of their better players, I think.
Yeah, it does hurt the Philadelphia Flyers not having some of their regular defensemen in the lineup, but you know what, they've been able to string up some wins prior to these last two losses, but it's going to be a very interesting game tonight to see Philly bounce back.
Absolutely. Amy chimes in with a score prediction for tonight. 5-2 Flyers. So I guess we have a Flyers fan in the house here. Continue to send in your score predictions for tonight. Actually, not too different than what I was predicting there, but Caden Primo has had a pretty heavy load lately. Montreal went the majority of the season with 3 goaltenders, Allen, Primo, and Montembeault, and Jake Allen, of course, traded at the trade deadline. Lately, Caden Primo has been called upon a lot more, so it'll be nice. It'll be interesting to see how he fares. I think till this point, he's not been a regular NHL goaltender.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, he's been able to have a couple more starts, since the trade deadline. He's going to be, I think, called upon a little bit more, obviously, than beginning this season. But it's good for him to get those regular NHL games more frequent than what he's used to.
Yeah, absolutely. The last game, the Montreal currently riding a 2-game winning streak, and they somehow, and I'm still trying to wrap my head around how, but they beat the Colorado Avalanche 2-1. So making that a 2-game winning streak, kind of a boring game to be honest, but shutting down Nathan McKinnon and company at this time of year, I wonder if maybe the Colorado Avalanche were taking a nap in that game.
Yeah, I mean, I was able to tune into a little bit of that game, but I ended up falling asleep because it's a late Western Coast game. But you wake up the next morning, and the score is still the same after the first period. So I mean, I kind of was asking myself the same questions you were. How did this play out? How did Montreal win? But nonetheless, they did pull out the win, and they did hold down a better team.
Yeah, for sure. And the Philadelphia Flyers riding a 2-game losing streak. Their last game was a 6-5 loss to the Rangers in overtime. So very high scoring. And I guess, like we kind of mentioned, lacking some D and lacking some goaltending.
Yeah, I think that's definitely probably played a little bit of a factor during that 6-5 loss to the Rangers.
For sure. Canadians Connection chiming in with both captains, Suzuki and Couturier, wearing number 14 tonight. So looking out for that as the puck drops and the game is underway. Headed into the Montreal zone as Caden Primo comes out to play the puck. Montreal trying to cycle out the puck, but the Philadelphia Flyers being a little bit pesky in the offensive zone with a good forecheck to hang on to the puck here, managing to set up pretty early on, but Montreal does a good job clogging up that center ice and sending it out the other way. Just going to take a quick moment here to get to tonight's mission for both teams. If you are the Montreal Canadiens, what are you looking for tonight?
For the Montreal Canadiens, you're not in a playoff spot, but you still want to continue to fight and do what you've been doing the last couple of games. If you look at the scoring from the whole team, top line had 6 goals, the second line had 2 goals, and the rest of the team only had 1 goal. So in order for Montreal to try to pull out a win tonight against Philadelphia Flyers, we've got to see more scoring throughout the whole entire team and not just from the first 2 lines.
Yes, absolutely. As Caden Primo makes a nice save, Philadelphia starting to buzz pretty early on in this game as they get a couple shots on net here. Montreal does manage to get it to the other end, and they'll dump and chase to try and set this one up. Uh, right now in the offensive zone, just a couple minutes in, Montreal's looking set up. They take a shot that misses the net, and Philadelphia is going to come away with it and head the other way. If you are the Philadelphia Flyers, what are you looking for from them tonight?
Well, the Flyers are currently holding third spot in the Metropolitan. They're currently one point ahead of the Capitals, who've actually the Capitals have been on a little bit of a heater recently. But for the Flyers, they need to continue to get scoring from their top two lines and continue to put on that pressure throughout the whole game against the Montreal Canadiens. But here's the when the Philadelphia Flyers play the Habs over their tenures. The Flyers have always seemed to have more offensive zone pressure. So if they can continue to duplicate that stat in tonight's game, it should be able to help them pull out a W.
Yeah, for sure. As Jake Evans takes a tumble along the boards here, the Philadelphia Flyers do end up coming away with the puck, sending it back the other way, and a big hit at center ice. This is starting to get a little bit physical for both teams. Montreal currently has possession, looking to get the puck into the offensive zone here to get set up, but they cannot get to it first. Although Cam York does send it away with an errant pass to the Montreal Canadiens. Now in the corner, Montreal cycling the puck around to the point. Mike Matheson with a shot that gets blocked, almost sends a Flyer heading the other way on a breakaway, but manages to keep that in. Now Philly sends it out and looking for an odd man break, but Montreal very safely gets a hold of this puck, and they'll try to come back out. Odd man rush and a shot and save by Sammy Urson. Philadelphia now hanging on to the puck. They're going to try to slow this down, change up their players, and send it down to the other end of the ice here. So it's getting a pretty physical early on. You noticed a couple hits there, right?
Yeah, no, it's I agree. It's starting to get pretty physical, and I think for both teams, I think they need to both keep their heads up, make sure they're making crisp passes, and just watching out for those big hits that are looking like it's going to continue throughout the whole game.
Yeah, absolutely. Tonight's mission on my end for the Montreal Canadiens is taking advantage of that inexperienced D and net. Of course, they're quite banged up at the moment, missing some key pieces. Montreal has a real opportunity to get that offense going if they play correctly. And if I'm the Flyers, I know Montreal likes to score on the rush, so I'm clogging up that neutral zone as much as possible as to not spring a Montreal Canadian on an odd man break. So right now, Brendan Gallagher is battling for the puck in the offensive zone behind the net. Philly's trying to come away with it, and they managed to clear it out. Could have been a one-on-one, but Montreal gets back nice and quickly here, trying to cycle the puck around the net here. And Philadelphia will give the puck away to the Montreal Canadiens and come back to the offensive zone. If you are the Philadelphia Flyers and there's one player on these Montreal Canadiens to look out for, who do you think they would look out for?
Oh, for Montreal Canadiens.
Yeah.
If I were the Philadelphia Flyers, I would. Are we talking from a scoring aspect or body?
Just a player to watch.
Player to watch, I would have to say Nick Suzuki.
Yeah,
but
makes sense.
but for my pick, my player to watch is going to be Uri Slavkovsky. He's been able to in his 70 games this year, he's got 40 points. He actually just broke the record for teenage points in the Montreal Canadiens franchise history. So that's good to see. And for Uri, I think for him, he just wants to be able to continue to put himself in the right areas, keep playing with that determination, and playing with his big body in the offensive zone to maintain that puck. But if he can do those things, I think he should be there. Philadelphia should watch Uri Slavkovsky.
As a fan shot, almost had a great opportunity for the Montreal Canadiens. Philadelphia clears out to the other end, and Montreal Canadiens are going to come the other way, almost an all-man break, but they can't manage to get the puck through. Philadelphia doing a good job clogging up that ice and not allowing Montreal those easy opportunities. Amy chimes into the chat here. Any thoughts on who scores first? I think it'll be Montreal Newhook. And if Philly scores first, it'll be Konechny. So get your predictions into the chat as well. For me, I think it's got to be Philadelphia scoring first. I think we've talked about those defensemen. I think I'm going to go a little bit outside of the box here and predict a Cam York opening goal. What do you think about that?
No, I like that. You're thinking outside the box, and Cam York, he's a good defenseman. And you know what? Defenseman scoring seemed to be a big thing throughout the NHL this year for most teams.
Mm-hmm. So when a puck gets gets whistled down as the net comes off, and we'll have to reset here, looking for a face-off. My Montreal Canadiens player to watch out for tonight, a little bit unconventional as well, but I'm going with one Yoel Armia, coming off a game where he had 1 goal and 1 assist, plus 6 shots on goal, and of course, 12 goals on the season. I think that Armia could be a Montreal Canadien going on a little bit of a run. Looking at the Philadelphia Flyers, who do you have your eyes on?
Yeah, for the Philadelphia Flyers, I have Owen Tippett. This player over the last 5 games has 2 goals and 3 assists. The way he's been able to set up his line mates, help carry the play, has been good for the Flyers over these last 5 games. And it's going to be a big thing, not only just in this game, but moving forward. Just because, the Philadelphia Flyers are playing for a playoff spot, to hold their playoff spot. So if Tippett can do these things and be able to put the puck in the net, Philadelphia should be able to win.
Yeah, for sure. As the Montreal Canadiens have the puck in their own zone, looking for a breakout pass. About 13:20 left in this period. A little bit physical, a couple of chances that just have not translated, but a whole lot of nothing so far. Shots just 2 apiece, and it looks like we could have some penalties coming up here, waiting for the official call. So Montreal going to the box. Arbor Xhekaj for slashing as they head into the first commercial break on the broadcast. My Philadelphia player to watch tonight is one Sean Couturier. Not been his season so far. Demoted to the 4th line. His coach is not a huge fan of his at the moment. But these Montreal Canadiens, pretty low in the standings. I think tonight would be the perfect night for Sean Couturier to go off and get back into his usual rhythm. What do you think about what's gone on with Sean Couturier?
Well, it's a unique situation. You don't generally hear issues with, or not issues, but rumblings between your captain and your coach too often, especially at the NHL level. So when I heard about this, I was kind of questioning, in case what's going on. They made him captain, and then a month later, there's all these issues. So I mean, it's for me, I think it's a situation that will eventually work itself out. But I think both parties will need to get on the same page and figure out what's going on.
Yeah, for sure. Looking at the chat here, Canadiens Connection is going to chime in. 6 of the last 10 games between these two have gone to OT or shootout. So put the coffee on, guys. Way ahead of you. I prepared this time. I got my big mug going.
I got a rock star.
Nice. So we're in it for the long haul. We did have a 12-round shootout on our first stream on this channel. So ideally, we don't end up with 12 rounds, but I wouldn't mind a shootout tonight. I wouldn't mind a nice tight game like that.
Yeah, I always love the shootout. I see one-on-one with the goalie and see, all players put their skills to the test. It's always a good outing.
Yeah, for sure. And just a little reminder to people watching along with us tonight, we do have a live chat. If you're on a mobile device or laptop, you should be able to join it from there. So let us know your score predictions. Let us know as well who you think is going to score first. And if you're watching on your TV, on a TV app, make sure you take out a mobile device, phone, tablet, laptop, head over to YouTube and join the stream on there as well. You should be able to join the live chat and be able to interact with us. So looking forward to hearing from all of our amazing viewers tonight. As the Philadelphia Flyers start their power play and the puck gets cleared out to their own zone, they'll have to regroup here. Right now, the Philadelphia Flyers have a pretty bad power play, only operating at 13.4%, but the Montreal Canadiens as well, not great on the penalty kill. Kind of an interesting thing is that the Flyers have actually had an easier time scoring while shorthanded, as they're pretty high up in the league in terms of shorthanded goals.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they have. I think it's like 12 to 15 shorthanded goals for Philly, and honestly, I think that's a lot. That's a lot to have. I think, to be honest.
Absolutely, as Caden Primo makes a save. Scary moment for the Montreal Canadiens. Another shot at the side of the net. Now the Flyers maintaining control as the Montreal Canadiens finally do get it right in front of their own net. They make no mistake in sending that the length of the ice as Sam Erzon plays that puck. And the Philadelphia Flyers will have to regroup with 47 seconds left. They'll get still plenty of time for this power play to operate. What do you think about this Philly power play so far? They've had their moments, but I feel like on a few occasions they've been a little bit weak in coughing up that puck.
Yeah, no, I do agree with you on that. I mean, they've been able to make a couple plays, but that when they're making those third or fourth passes, they're like you said, they're coughing up that puck, and it's not they're not really being able to really get a good shot on net.
Yeah, for sure. As Caden Primo makes a stop, and he covers that one up pretty easily. So far, Caden Primo, I think he's looked a little bit scrambly, but on that last shot, at least, looking pretty confident. Some good lateral movement, being at the top of his crease. Caden Primo, I feel like every time I've watched him in net, has a great shot by the Philadelphia Flyers, cutting in front of Caden Primo, and he makes the stop. I feel like every time I watch Caden Primo, he starts off very strong, but then as the game goes along, he starts to dissipate a little bit and the mistakes come.
Yeah, no, I do agree with you on that one. And one of the games that kind of rings my memory is a recent game where we actually lost against the Calgary Flames. He looked good at the beginning, and then as the game went on, it slowly started to deteriorate. So I do agree with you on that one, and hopefully that's not the case tonight.
Yeah, for sure. Philadelphia's power play comes to an end. They got a couple shots on there, but no goals to show for it. Back to even strength. Philadelphia leading the shot department 4-2, almost at the 10-minute mark, and not a ton of shots for either team. Not a ton of offense in general. Philadelphia has had a few shots blocked as well. So Montreal willing to sacrifice the body here as Nick Suzuki makes a pretty big hit along the boards in his own zone. Now Montreal heading the other way, looking for a wide open pass that can't connect. Almost a slap shot from pretty far out, but unfortunately that one doesn't go through. And Philadelphia will pick up the puck here and clear it the length of the ice. Montreal's going to have to regroup. But almost an interesting setup there. I feel like that play was a little bit forced and probably not the right time to look for a slap shot, to be completely honest.
Yeah, I mean, it's still early in the game, and if you're forcing plays now, that's where we're gonna get those mishaps or turnovers, right? So, I think both teams need to keep that in the back of their minds, and obviously one's got more to play for than the other. But if they're both able to kind of keep that in the back of their minds, it should be a pretty interesting game.
Yeah, for sure. Now, Montreal getting a couple of good opportunities, but high and wide is that shot from the point. Now, Philadelphia was able to pick up possession here, making it difficult for Montreal to get that back. Battling along the boards, Gallagher's involved. He takes a tumble and a shot in front. Almost a great opportunity, but Montreal failing to connect and hit that net. Couple of missed shots that just went high and wide. Interesting sequence though, and we continue to see a ton of physicality from both of these teams.
Yeah, I think one of the conversations were, let's play physical. Let's try to burn them out early in the game. I know, Montreal's got some big hitters, so it's going to be I think it's going to be a great game for that kind of stuff, and it should be pretty interesting to see who comes out on top.
For sure. The Philadelphia Flyers back behind their own net trying to pick this one up. Montreal manages to hold this in, but immediately give it back to the Flyers, who are going to chip the puck out high. No one able to hang on to possession for much of a period of time. About 8:30 left in the period. And Philadelphia back behind their net to touch this one up. Cam York sending the puck down, and we get a whistle. Maybe a penalty coming up here. Looks like Travis Sanheim for the Philadelphia Flyers is headed into the box. Montreal will get their first power play of the night. Sanheim not happy about that at all. And we've talked about special teams a little bit. Philadelphia doing a pretty good job scoring shorthanded, while the Montreal Canadiens doing a pretty bad job not giving up goals well with the man advantage. And in general, that Montreal power play, it's not been great. Recently, I think they made a few adjustments. It seems like they have Slavkovsky taking more shots and trying to set him up quite a bit. What do you expect from this Montreal power play?
Well, honestly, I don't expect anything too different than what they've been doing. Because now they know what they have, and actually they know Uri's got a good shot on the one side, but they also have Cole Caulfield on the other. And I know they've been trying to feed either one of those guys for a shot, potential scoring opportunity. But we could always look to see about a goal coming from the back end as well. I'm pretty sure our last couple of power play goals have come from a defenseman. So I think for Montreal, I don't think they're going to change too much, which could benefit the Flyers if they've been doing a lot of video replay on the Canadiens power play.
Oh, absolutely. And John Tortorella is the exact type of person that has an entire book on that Montreal power play. Just out of curiosity, is there any personnel adjustments or anything that you would make to that top unit? I know right now Montreal, for pretty much the entire season, has had Michael Matheson as the quarterback on that first unit, and that's been up top with Suzuki, Caulfield, Newhook, Slavkovsky. Is there anything you would want to change up? Do you think that you would want maybe someone more scrappy in there, or are you happy with that and it just has to find a way to click?
Well, I would try to throw in like a Caden Gooley on that top unit. Maybe if Joshua Waugh was I'd try to put him on the top unit, kind of spread out some of these good guys and kind of make it so we have, good shooters on both power plays, kind of balance it out. Because I feel like our top unit's like really good, like our scorers, and then our second unit's got still good players, just not as lethal as that top unit.
And puck drops as the Montreal Canadiens head on the power play. Sanheim to the box for Philadelphia for interference. Montreal's power play operating at 17.5% right now. And I threw it up before, but I'll just read this from Amy. Sanheim definitely doesn't agree with that call, as we saw Sanheim arguing quite a bit with the officials on the way to the box there. And a whistle, I believe an offside by the Montreal Canadiens. They did not have a whole lot going on in those first 20 seconds. They had to go back, regroup, and then they came back in offside. So zone entries not looking so good for these Canadiens so far.
Yeah, maybe the Flyers heard what your mission is to try to stop the Montreal Canadiens, because it feels like they're holding them up at the blue line, not allowing them in or giving them any opportunity, to be honest.
For sure. Minute 35 left on that power play. Philadelphia able to clear that puck all the way to the other end once again, and Matheson's going to try to bring that puck up the ice. Slingshots it back, and it's Suzuki carrying that puck in, showing a little bit of skill. And will Montreal be able to get set up? Philadelphia not giving them a whole lot of time and space, and Philadelphia sends it all the way to the other end once again. Caden Primo touches this one up. About a minute 5 left on this power play, and these Canadiens, I don't think they've even been set up at this point.
Yeah. Sorry. We actually have a goal from Nick Suzuki.
Oh, amazing. Yes. Nick Suzuki, of course, on the power play there for the Montreal Canadiens. That's your first goal. Did anyone predict Nick Suzuki on this one? As it's a great setup for the Montreal Canadiens.
Yeah, a nice pass from Uri Slavkovsky across crease there for Suzuki to tap it in there.
For sure. So as soon as we started talking about how this Montreal Canadiens power play has not looked good, Nick Suzuki manages to tuck this one into the net, and Suzuki has been on fire since the turn of the calendar into the new year. Of course, this one starts on the rush with a very clean zone entry and a nice pass there by Slavkovsky, like you said. What do you think about this goal from Suzuki? Is this how you drew it up when you were setting up that power play, or is this something that just kind of unfolded? They saw an opportunity.
Well, I think it's something they saw that something unfolded and saw an opportunity because I had Slavkovsky kind of drifting into the corner and playing that puck to over to Suzuki. So I mean, it's I think it was a good play, and it's stick tap to Slav and Suzuki for making that happen.
For sure. So as that puck gets sent into the offensive zone here, and this one gets whistled down. Waiting to see what's going on here, where it seems like one of the Philly players is talking to an official. Amy Johnson in the chat says, how Philadelphia responds here will be very telling for how the game might go tonight. So, of course, the Philadelphia Flyers are going to want to get back pretty quickly. I think they're going to want to try and get the physicality elevated. I think they're going to want to get some zone time here because Philadelphia, I think, has been kind of the better team. It was just unfortunate that shorthanded, they were not able to cover all the Montreal Canadiens bodies during that sequence of passes.
Yeah, I agree with you on that one. I think the Montreal's only opportunity was that goal they scored on the power play. I do agree. Philadelphia's been all over that.
For sure. And Philadelphia, it's been a while since they've had their last shot. Shot still 4-3 for the Flyers, so not getting a ton of shots on net for either team. About 6:30 left in the period. And just to let everyone know, we will have an intermission show, so we'll take a 3-minute break once the period ends, and make sure you stick around. So, Nathan, your goal prediction might be holding true here. Montreal managed to score that first one. Do you personally think that the Flyers are going to come back and respond quickly?
You know what? I feel they will. Like I said, they're battling. They need this win. Everything they need to be able to play the Montreal Canadiens and beat them because they're not a playoff team. Philadelphia wants those points, and honestly, I think the Flyers can at least score and tie it up in this first period.
For sure. As called down for an offside here for the Philadelphia Flyers, and it has been a lot of Philly zone time since that goal, so they've had a little bit of a response, but also lots of whistles and some struggle to enter that blue line cleanly, as we've had a couple of different offside calls here. Philadelphia maybe a little bit anxious here, trying to do a little bit too much. What do you think the Montreal Canadiens are going to have to do to shut down this Philly counterattack?
Well, I think they just need to play their game. Look at the ice, see if they're playing their position right. Like make sure defensemen are in their spots, make sure they can kind of read and kind of see where that puck's going to go. Because I think right now Montreal just hasn't been able to do anything since they scored that goal. It's just dump it in the Flyers' end, and then the Flyers are taking it out of their zone. So I think the Flyers can continue to put that pressure on and make Montreal sweat a little bit.
Yeah, Canadiens Connection chimes in. First 30-goal season for Nick Suzuki of his NHL career. So stick taps to Nick Suzuki on that. That's quite the accomplishment. That power play goal assisted by Slavkovsky and Matheson. And it was a beauty. Like I said, since January, Suzuki's been on fire. So well-deserved by Suzuki to get to that 30-goal mark.
Yeah, no, it's I'm happy. I'm happy for him. Happy for the Canadiens, and it's good to see our captain up 30.
For sure. As the Montreal Canadiens have some zone time here, a slap shot from the point doesn't go anywhere as it's blocked. It's a 1-on-2 rush for the Flyers. They opt just to dump and chase, and Primo behind his net to tap that puck. Primo not been super busy lately. Looking for that next Philadelphia Flyers shot. I'd be curious to see how quickly that comes here, as it seemed like they were trying to make a pushback, but unfortunately, just nothing to show for it. And quite frankly, we're at 4 minutes left in this period, and shots being 4-3. It's kind of ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, there's not too many games where it's low shots, but when it is, it seems to be a little unentertaining. But we still got a whole 2 periods to see if it picks up. So hopefully it does, and we see some great gameplay.
Yeah, is it just me, or have these Montreal Canadiens really locked down the D zone in the last few games? I feel like the last few games in general, there's not been a ton of offense for the Montreal Canadiens or the teams that they play against. It's been very, very tight in their own zone, which is kind of nice, and also a lot of block shots.
Yeah, I do agree with you on that one, Michael. And just like we kind of go back to that Colorado game to prove your point. Like that's a really good NHL team. Top one of the top teams in the West, and they're able to hold them down to 1 goal in the first period.
Yeah,
So I think I do agree with you on that one. I think they've changed something in their defensive style to be able to make that happen.
for sure. And the Montreal Canadiens, with a nice long breakout pass here, getting into the offensive zone. Behind the net, circling around to the point. Harris looking for his options. And a wrister from the slot and a goal. Montreal Canadiens up 2-0 now. Jesse Ullinen with the goal. And as the camera pans over to John Tortorella, that's not a happy camper over there.
I guess
Amy
not.
chimes in with the Jesse Ullinen. So there you go. Jesse Ullinen. I feel like it's been a bit of an up and down season for him. Not the coach's favorite player. I think he's a little bit underutilized. So very nice to see him get a goal here. And a great shot in front of the net, cleaning up the garbage, putting that rebound into the net.
Yeah, that's a nice shot pass from Suzuki to Struble there to put that shot on net. I really like that play.
Yeah, absolutely. So Montreal up early, 2-0, and they now lead shots 5-4 with 3 minutes left in this first period. A bit of a rough go for Samuel Urson of the Philadelphia Flyers. I can't blame him too much, but when you have a big juicy rebound like that, I think he might want. I think he'd like to go back in time and play that a little bit differently.
Yeah, I agree with you on that one. Obviously, not the goal you want to give up that early in the game, but like there's still 2 periods left, and hopefully the Flyers can get something going here before the end of the first, and at least come within 1 goal.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's Jesse Ullinen's 4th of the season, assisted by Jaden Struble and Nick Suzuki with his 39th assist. So Nick Suzuki already on a 2-point night. I think you almost had it as your player to watch, but you decided to go with Slavkovsky. But it's been all Suzuki so far. I feel like on that goal too, that was really just a lot of Suzuki essentially creating all those opportunities in order for Jesse Ullinen to be in a spot where he can clean up the garbage and score off the rebound.
Yeah, no, I do agree with that on that one. And you know what, since the turn of the year, like the start of 2024, I know you've mentioned it, but Nick Suzuki, like his gameplay is really good. Like he sees the ice just I feel like he sees the ice a lot different than he did when they first started in the season.
For sure. So in his last 5 games, 5 goals, three assists, and 17 shots. So there you go. Nick Suzuki, absolutely on fire and leading the way like a Montreal Canadiens captain should. With that, I think I think his primary line mate in Cole Caulfield, his point total and goal production has gone down a little bit, but the way that Nick Suzuki is producing, I think the Montreal Canadiens can afford that, at least at the moment.
Yeah, no, I do agree with you on that one. And it's a season where we thought Cole Caulfield was going to have, is it 40, is it 50? It's just, but it's good to see him, try to round out his game in other areas. Not saying it's fully rounded out, but he's trying to make those adjustments in his game so he's not just a one-trick pony, so to speak.
Absolutely. So less than 3 minutes to go. Offensive zone face-off for the Montreal Canadiens. And just a little reminder here, if you have not already, make sure you take a few moments to check out the other content on this channel, youtube.com/allhabs. We put out a ton of content throughout the week, and we'll talk about that a little bit more during the intermission. And while I say that, make sure that you stick around for that intermission. Like and subscribe if you like what you see today. And if you want to hang out during more live stream watch alongs, hit that notification bell and you'll get notified as soon as we do a live stream watch along. So waiting for this puck to get set up and dropped. Suzuki back out there once again with the big line, Slavkovsky and Caulfield. And the Philadelphia Flyers come away with the puck. They're coming down the other end, trying to get set up, but Montreal outmanning them and managing to force them off the puck. Nice defensive play as the Montreal Canadiens break up an odd man rush. Now back in the offensive zone, 2 minutes 30 to go. Montreal unable to set up once again, and Philadelphia back the other way. Great pass gets broken up with a sliding Montreal Canadiens defenseman. The crowd cheers for that one. Great defensive play. Winds up and fires from the point, and Caden Primo covers that one up, and the scrums will ensue.
Oh.
Former Montreal.
Hathaway?
Yeah, Jack-Eye Hathaway. That's actually a pretty good matchup. I was going to say, you see Ryan Poehling, the former Hab, involved in this as well.
He's getting his, he wants to get his hands dirty.
Yeah, exactly. But just watching the replay here, the Montreal Canadiens and Jack-Eye with kind of a hip from behind there, almost a cross check. It looked like they went uncalled. So perhaps a missed call by the officials, but nonetheless, Caden Primo ends up covering up the puck on the ensuing play. Kind of a vicious hit by Jack-Eye. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I didn't notice that during the game either, but looking back on it, that's questionable, right? Like it's something he should be careful on how he progresses with that throughout the game.
Yeah, not going to get away with that too often. And so far, the Flyers looking pretty unhappy with the officiating, jawing at them quite a bit. But they do get an offensive zone face-off here with about 2:10 to go. We'll see if they're able to generate anything before the end of the period. The Flyers certainly want to get out of this, I guess, probably at least within one. That would be a huge boost to them because they've not played particularly bad so far. I think this 2-0 lead by the Montreal Canadiens might be a little bit undeserved, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, I agree with you on that one. It's just like, especially when you look at the game from the start of the period till now, the scoring chances aren't there. The high danger chances aren't in Montreal's favor. So hopefully, like you said, the Flyers can maybe turn something around in the first period here and see what they can do.
For sure. As the Flyers back in the offensive zone, unfortunately, they're struggling to sustain any amount of zone time, and Montreal's headed the other way, led by Matheson, who stops up at the point. Great setup that gets stopped partially by the Flyers, and they head back the other way. A 2-on-2 rush here, but Philly is not able to hold on to that puck, and missed rush opportunity. Montreal comes back the other way with it. Now Philly corrals the puck in their own zone, looking for that breakout pass. 1 minute left in this period, and like I said before, make sure you stick around for the intermission show. We'll take about a 3-minute break once the clock goes to 0, and then we'll recap the period, and we have some Montreal Canadiens to talk about during this intermission. So send in your questions, get into that chat if you haven't already. Still plenty of time to get in your score predictions. So about 40 seconds left here. Just quickly, your thoughts on this period. It's a bit of a wonky one, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, it's not the period I mean, score wise, I'm happy about, but when you look at it like from the playing side of it, it's obviously hasn't gone in Philadelphia's favor as for the score, but when it comes to their gameplay, they were strong at the beginning of the period. But ever since Montreal's gotten, a couple goals on them, I think it's kind of deflated them just a little bit, not being able to set up in the Canadian zone.
As 3.4 seconds left, and we get a whistle. So we'll see where this puck ends up, but I believe this period is about to end as a 2-0 lead for the Montreal Canadiens. Once again, Suzuki and Jesse Ylönen with the 2 goals. Of course, that first goal, Suzuki on the power play, and it was a beauty. Jesse Ylönen cleaning up the garbage, sending in a rebound. Great goal by him as well, set up by Suzuki. So the Montreal Canadiens off to a very early 2-0 lead. this few more seconds put on the clock here. It's going to be 5.2 seconds left in the period, and Philly in the offensive zone. So they'll want to go quick, get a face-off win, quick release, and see if they can get this puck on net before that clock runs down to 0. And it seems like they get possession here. Montreal all over, though. Philadelphia, nothing doing there as this period ends 2-0, and the scrums ensue again. This time, Anderson in the thick of it.
Oh,
and these two teams, yeah, they don't like each other. Evans out there, Suzuki out there as well, Savard in there. Oh, some punches thrown. I think we might be getting some penalties.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. It
Jack
continues, too.
Grab players.
Amy chimes in with a "you tell him, Beezer." So now jawing at the officials once again as they try to sort this one out. Joel Farabee right in the thick of it. Cam York out there as well. And wow, I think we're in for an entertaining next couple of periods. We'll see if this settles down in between the periods. We'll see if we get any kind of calls. I think there should be at least one or two for both teams. But there you go. End of the period in the most interesting way. Both teams in a bit of a scrum. We'll take a 3-minute break and we'll be back here in a few minutes for our intermission show. Stick around with us. This is the Rocket Sports Media live stream. Montreal Canadiens taking on the Philadelphia Flyers.
Welcome back, everyone, to our Rocket Sports live stream watch along as the Habs take on the Philadelphia Flyers. I'm Nathan, a proud contributor of Rocket Sports, and here I'm with my Rocket Sports colleague and host of the Canadiens Connection podcast, Michael Spinella. And how do you think this is our intermission show? What do you think of that first period?
I think that the Montreal Canadiens have a horseshoe in all of their skates right now, being up 2-0 after that first one. Very opportunistic goals coming from Suzuki on the power play and Jesse Ullinen just a few moments later. Shots on goal 6-4 for the Montreal Canadiens. Not many shots on goal for either team. And Montreal just taking advantage of the few opportunities that they had. What did you think about this?
Well, I agree with most of your points you mentioned, and I feel that like especially the horseshoe. But I feel that the Philadelphia Flyers don't want to get discouraged. Don't want to shy away from playing the body because clearly Montreal is doing the same. Um, but I think that if the Philadelphia Flyers can keep doing what they're doing in that first period, but actually having some of those plays connect and get some zone time, I think they'll be able to right that ship.
Yeah, that's a great point too. And just make sure you are following at Rocket Sports on Twitter as we live tweet every single Montreal Canadiens game throughout the season. You see it on the screen here. Make sure you give that a follow. That's the end of period summary, done very well by our own Rick Stevens, and we appreciate that. Just going to take a quick look into the chat here as the Canadiens Connection chimes in with in such a feisty game. It's interesting that Nicolas Deslauriers is a healthy scratch tonight for the Flyers. So Deslauriers, bit of a goon. He's definitely a fighter, one of those heart players. And with all the scrums that we just saw at the very end of that period, it's kind of it's unfortunate that he's not there tonight. He would be involved. Amy Johnson chimes in with a Deslauriers Jack-Eye or Pez tilt would have been entertaining. I agree with that. It would have been great to see. And you know what? The game's not over. I think we can at least see Jack-Eye in a fight. Let's see who on the Flyers is willing to step up and take him on.
Yeah, it's to go on the Delorier point. He was actually a healthy scratch in that New York Rangers game too, when Matt Rempe was playing. So I'm wondering if he's done anything to be on the bench to be a healthy scratch, or maybe he's just nursing something, or just couldn't fit in the lineup tonight. But yeah, interesting that he's not in the lineup tonight.
For sure. Just a quick second to let everyone know to Rocket Sports here, we do a ton of Habs coverage. So if you haven't already, head over to thn.com/Montreal. On there, you'll find all your Montreal coverage. We cover the Laval Rocket. We cover the Trois-Rivières Lions, both affiliates. You get game day coverage, pre-game previews, game recaps, feature articles as well. Also, follow us on all of our social media at Rocket Sports on Twitter, at Rocket Sports Media Inc. on Facebook, at Rocket Sports Media on Instagram, and check out our weekly podcast, Canadiens Connection, at canadiensconnection.fm. That comes out every single Saturday, hosted by myself and Rick Stevens. Last week, we opened up the Rocket Sports mailbag and answered listener questions, and we had a ton of fun doing that. So, Nathan, quite a snoozer of a period. I think the last few seconds where there was a scrum was probably the most interesting part of it. But so far, Caden Primo, pretty easy in net, only a few shots. What do you think about Caden Primo in his heightened role? I talked about this a little bit at the beginning, where since Jake Allen was traded at the trade deadline, Montreal no longer has a three-goalie tandem. They're relying a lot more on Caden Primo and Sam Montembeault to pick up the slack. How do you think he has fared in the few games since that trade deadline?
Well, I think for Caden Primo over the last 3 games, he's gone 2-1 with an average of 9.25 save percentage over those 3 games. I think he's played very well, but if you look at the game against Calgary, I think that game where obviously Montreal lost 5-2 to the Calgary Flames, there's some goals you'd like to get back as a goaltender. The first goal in that game was a power play tip in. I mean, there's nothing you can really do with that one. But the second one was kind of like he made the saves, a sprawling save, and just put himself way out of position to allow Calgary to pass the puck out front and shoot and score. So I think that that's a game that Primo wants to kind of look over the game review or video replay and kind of see where he went wrong. But other than that, the Seattle Kraken and the Colorado Avalanche game, he's played well and he's looked pretty good. So I mean, I feel that, there's a lot of less pressure of having three goalies, like you were saying at the beginning of the show. And he's kind of been able to actually have his side of the ice. Now there's only two goalies in during practice as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And another goalie that I think has been affected by this too is one Sam Montembeault, who I think has actually kind of struggled in the last little while. In his last five starts, 1-3-2. It's not great, so it's been a while. He's searching for a win here at some point, or is Caden Primo in his last three, 2-1-0. So certainly a bit of a better record there. Do you think that the departure of Allen has had an impact on these two? Perhaps just the fact that they don't. No, well, Jake Allen's known to be a pretty good teammate. Do you think that weighs into this at all?
Well, I think for both goaltenders, they're still young in their NHL careers. So to have a goalie like Jake Allen, who's a very team friendly guy and who they could really relate with, because he's been in the position they're currently in. So I think it does have a slight impact on their mental game on this, because both goaltenders, they have a goalie coach, they have other mentors, but they don't have the mentor they've had for the last couple of seasons.
Yeah, I think that's a great point too. And since going to the New Jersey Devils, you have to give us some stick taps to Jake Allen, as he's been pretty great, honestly. He's played 6 games so far. Right now, his goals against average is .925. He's 4-on-2 record, goals against average of 2.51, and really solidified that position for the New Jersey Devils. So, what do you think about Allen's success over in New Jersey right now?
Well, I just want to start off by saying I'm happy for Jake Allen. Because we've known from watching the games his attitude towards that three goalie tandem, and just not for goalies, like it's been mentioned in the past, is that they like routine. They have certain ways in how they do their game, and when you got an extra body kind of in the way, it makes it difficult. But for Jake Allen, I feel that this is well deserved for him. He's still a good goaltender, and I feel that being able to have this opportunity is really rejuvenated the way he's looked at the goalie position and looked at his game this year.
Yeah, that's a great point. Quickly, just going to look at the chat here as Canadians Connection chimes in with Scott Ludden and Arbor Jack Guy assessed roughing minors at the 20-minute mark of the first period. So we were looking for penalties at the end of that period. There you go. One penalty apiece. So thank you, Canadians Connection, for chiming in with that. And just back to Jake Allen briefly. I know it's been long talked about. We've probably talked about this a ton. It was a tough situation with the three goaltenders. And I think there was maybe an expectation that going to New Jersey, he'd have to shake off some rust. And honestly, I think he's come in with kind of a vengeance almost. He's come in, with an agenda. He wanted to re-solidify himself as a goalie. And again, I think I'm happy for Jake Allen that he's finding success over in New Jersey right now.
Yeah, and it's good to know that the New Jersey Devils are happy for him too. Like you could see that they're happy. They know they have a good goaltender. Not saying the goaltenders that the New Jersey had weren't good. It's just they've had their up and down games. So it's an all around good scenario for Jake Allen and New Jersey Devils.
For sure. Amy chimes into the chat and says, Philly fans, don't worry. The second intermission will be focused on the Flyers. And for those that missed it, what I announced at the top of the show, Amy is actually going to be joining us in that second intermission to talk all about the Philadelphia Flyers. Of course, Amy being from Pennsylvania, she has the inside track on everything Philly, and her Twitter handle is @FlyersRules. So you know that she's a Flyers fan, and we'll appreciate hearing from her. You know her from this channel if you frequent by this channel too, host of the Habs Hockey Report Show and the Rocket Hockey Report Show. Also covers the Laval Rocket at thn.com/Montreal. So super knowledgeable about hockey, and super excited to have her here on the live stream during that second intermission. And just before we move along here, do you have anything else you wanted to add to this whole goaltending conversation?
Well, I think to bring up the whole Montembeault, how he's kind of been not great, but not completely terrible. He's kind of like in the middle. I feel that Montembeault understands that, this is, a part of the season where it's going to be tough, having the fifth or sixth hardest schedule leading up to the end of the season. So I feel that Sam Montembeault will bounce back and be able to get a couple more wins.
For sure. And Amy chimes in with the correction here. Lifelong Flyers fan, 10-year Canadiens journalist. So there you go. If you want to know a little bit more about Amy, that's the situation right there. And like I said, very excited to have her on the show. We actually have a topic it's not super Flyer centric, but it'll talk a little bit about the Flyers. This Eastern Conference wildcard race it's gotten interesting. And of course, the Flyers right in the thick of it, third in the Metro right now. A few teams just behind them, not too far. What do you think about this whole race that's starting to heat up? I know that the Capitals had a rough start. Lately, they've been much better. Detroit's, who was in that wild card spot for the majority of the season, starting to slip out of it. You can't count out the Islanders. The Devils are the Devils. What are your whole thoughts on this wild card race?
Well, I think it's going to be very, very interesting, and it's going to be down to the last game of the season.
Yeah.
And the reason why I say that is because you got 10, 11, 12, Detroit, Washington, and New Jersey. This is the strength of schedule they have leading into the end of the season. So it's right in the middle of the pack. Philadelphia, they're ranked 29th in that season schedule strength. So, I mean, they do have the easier schedule. So, I mean, my bet is that they stay in contention, and it's just between those the bottom teams there for that last wild card spot. But like I said, it's going to be an interesting. New York Islanders also have a game in hand to in all those teams. So if the New York Islanders are able to string up a couple wins here and be able to apply the pressure, it's going to be very interesting to see. Is it going to be Washington? Is it going to be the New York Islanders? But even like I said, the New Jersey Devils are still kind of there. And if you really wanted to get, by a number standpoint, the Pittsburgh Penguins, I know they're looking pretty in. They'd have to win all the games leading into the end of the season, I think, for them to even try to make it. But mathematically, they're still kind of in there.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's, like I said, it's going to be a tight one. And I feel that all these teams are going to be fighting pretty hard to get in the playoffs.
For those keeping or paying attention, right now the Capitals are at 81 points and the Flyers are at 82 points. The Capitals in that second wildcard spot, the Philadelphia Flyers in the Metro third place. So if the Capitals win tonight and the Flyers lose, you could see the Capitals move up in the standings and the Flyers start to slip out of playoff contention. Just a note here, after one period, the Capitals are down 1-0 to the Toronto Maple Leafs. So a good sign so far for the Flyers, but they could easily slip out of that third place by the end of tonight, which is kind of crazy. It's that close. And the Washington Capitals, credit to them, they have a couple games in hand too. I think full credit to Ovechkin too. The turnaround he's had in this season. I think at one point we were expecting him to be pretty well finished, and he's been on a bit of a hot streak. So the Washington Capitals, certainly someone to look out for. And of course, in goal, who's had a nice streak there, when Charlie Lindgren, the former Habs. So what do you think about the Capitals?
You know what? They're like you said, they're a hot team, and it has to do with Alex Ovechkin finding his game. At the beginning of the season, I think he only strung up I think it was like 14 goals, and leading up to the trade deadline, and he's been able to come in hot the second half after the trade deadline to really put the Capitals in a contention spot. But also Charlie Lindgren, like you were saying, good goaltender. I'm really happy for him. He's been able to really find his position. Pretty much any team where he goes, he's been looking pretty good. So all in all, happy for the Capitals, but we'll see, like you said, how tonight plays out, because they could move up or they could stay where they're at.
Yeah, for sure. And coming back into the second period here, we'll see some 4-on-4 action. Montreal up 2-0 after that first one, and it'll be interesting to see how these two teams react. 4-on-4, you get some open ice. I know they both have some speedy players, so that's going to be fun to look out for, and hopefully a more entertaining second period than it was in that first.
Yeah, if it's anything like the last minute, I think the hits, the scrums, I think that's going to be something that's going to continue on till the end of the game.
Absolutely. And just a little note, since we were talking about the standings, right now the Ottawa Senators up 2-0 on the Chicago Blackhawks. So those cheering for the Montreal Canadiens tank, that's a pretty good scenario, as the Ottawa Senators and Montreal Canadiens currently tied for points, although Ottawa up one place on them at the moment. So Amy says, what team is everyone rooting for? Drop a Go Habs Go or a Let's Go Flyers in the chat. So if you have not already, say hello to us in the chat. Let us know who you're cheering for. We'd love to hear from you. You should be able to access it on a mobile device, laptop, tablet. If you're watching on a TV app, make sure you take out your mobile device and join us on YouTube there as well so that you can access that live chat. We'd love to hear from all of our wonderful viewers tonight. As the puck gets dropped here, and the game is underway in the second period, 4-on-4 hockey right now, and the Philadelphia Flyers using that to their advantage so far, finding all sorts of open ice, cycling around in the offensive zone, and they managed to keep that one in, almost cleared out by the Montreal Canadiens. Captain Nick Suzuki battling with Morgan Frost right now, and the Canadiens head out the other way. It's a 3-on-2. And a shot and save by Sam Urson. Important save there off the rush. I feel like the Montreal Canadiens could have done a little bit more with that opportunity rather than just a simple shot in the middle of the ice. And a hello to our colleague there, Brian Clark, by the way. So Montreal in the offensive zone here. They have possession of it, battling with the Philadelphia Flyers, who knocked the puck away, and they end up taking that before Montreal strips them of the puck once again. A shot misses. That one goes high and wide once again. Montreal having a difficult time hitting the net at certain points of tonight, and Philly going the other way. Backhand shot, easy stop by Primo. And a scrum behind the net here. Struble in the middle of it. Looks like Tippett in the middle of it too. You see that beautiful orange air coming out as that helmet pops up. What happened to start this whole scrum, Nathan?
Yeah, I think it's Tippett went hard to the net, and Struble didn't really like that. Oh, I might be wrong. Looks like it might have been a cross check.
Yeah. 2-minute cross-checking penalty coming up.
Okay.
So
when you look at that replay.
Yeah, things starting to get out of hand, and picks up right where they left it in that first period, ending with all the scrums. And you're going to see Owen Tippett to the box here.
Yeah.
So far, it looks like it's going to remain 4-on-4. Yeah, Jaden Struble to the other box too. So 25 more seconds of 4-on-4 here.
Yeah, because it looks like Struble cross-checked Tippett first. Tippett came back with a cross-check, and the game coincidental. So
yeah, I think that's the right call here. Take a guy off each.
Yeah, try to control the game.
For sure. Brian Clark chimes in with, hey, Amy. And look out for Amy in that second intermission. Super excited to have her on board. Canadiens Connection says, Nick Suzuki, 1 goal, 1 assist so far, but not won a face-off. So Nick Suzuki excelling in some areas, but disappointing that he's not won a single face-off so far.
Is that a record for him?
Yeah, it might be. We'll have to go back and check that out. So 15 seconds of 4-on-4 happening here as the Montreal Canadiens gain that blue line in the offensive zone. It's Mike Matheson. He's spinning around, trying to get around a couple of Philadelphia Flyers, but he can't. Now headed the other way. 4-on-4 now expires. Back to 5-on-5 as Slavkovsky picks up the puck, and he's headed the other way. Headed in with some speed here. Some good puck handling. A nice move and a shot and save. Sam Urson stands tall there, and nice rush there by the Montreal Canadiens. Now at the point, Savard looking for an option. He just shovels that behind the Philadelphia net. Montreal still hanging onto the puck, cycling it around, but Philadelphia strips Montreal of the puck there, and they head the other way. Now behind the net, it's Caden Primo picking up the puck. Shots now 7-7. And Montreal gains that blue line once again with the Gallagher line out there. Philadelphia manages to pick it up, though. Montreal trying to be aggressive on the forecheck, but Philadelphia protecting that puck pretty carefully, but they can't clear it. Montreal has the puck in the offensive zone in front. That one can't hit the net. A great block there by the Philadelphia defenseman. And Montreal having to be careful as Philadelphia almost gets set up for an on-man rush. Now Philadelphia behind the Montreal net with possession. And Montreal does manage to come away with it. Montreal doing a good job protecting the puck and being very aggressive along the boards. That physicality is really coming out.
Yeah, and I want to go back to that Slavkovsky drive to the net. You know, that's what I want. That's what I want to see from Slavkovsky, using that big frame, using the speed that he has, and try to outmuscle those defensemen to try to get a decent shot opportunity on that. I mean, it's a good play by Slavkovsky for sure.
Yeah, showing some skill and carrying that puck up the ice. I feel like that might be the longest I've seen him have the puck on a stick. Almost a breakaway as Sam Urson comes out of his net being very aggressive. Almost pulls the Dominic Hasek move there as Montreal unfortunately does not get to that puck first. Now it's sent all the way to the other zone. So bit of an exciting sequence, and Sam Urson not shying away from being aggressive there.
Yeah, I like the play from Sam Merson. I think he saw it was Nick Suzuki coming at that puck, so I think he was telling himself, "I got to beat him to that."
Yeah, the amount of times back when I was playing Pee Wee Level C, that I tried to do that as a goalie and it just did not work out. Credit to Sam Merson on that. Stick taps. So Montreal now in their own zone, trying to look for that breakout pass. They managed to get all the way to the other end here, and now Cam York's going to pick it up for Philadelphia, but gives it away at the side of the net, and it looks like Gallagher is behind the net, looking to create some space, trying to find a pass. Now back to Gallagher, cycling that around. Montreal doing a good job finding ways to create opportunities.
Yeah, the second line is looking good out there. The Gallagher, Alex Newhook, and Yoel Armia, you know, holding that puck in there, keeping that puck away from Philly, and honestly, the board play they're doing right now in the neutral zone is it's good to see a little bit of a push from Montreal.
Oh, for sure. And now the puck flips up pretty high. Both teams trying to be careful not to get the high sticking call here. And Montreal almost gets sprung on an odd man rush. Urson comes out to play it. Montreal with the puck again. Now at the point, Evans looking for options, trying to battle with that puck along the boards. He comes away with it. Philadelphia on their heels right now. Montreal coming out in this period with a lot of energy and speed and aggression, and they've looked pretty good. They've had the majority of the zone time.
Yeah, I mean it's a good flip from the first period because you know we were talking how it was Philly, 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 and you know, but it's good to see Montreal getting those opportunities, and Philly needs to close down that neutral zone to stop allowing that puck into their zone so deep.
Absolutely. As Anderson plays the puck behind the offensive net, that one gets cycled around on the boards, taking a bit of a tumble. Maybe a penalty on the way. Yep, the ref's got his arm up in the air at the point. Montreal still has possession, looking for something, and they have an extra attacker right now. Montreal trying to generate an opportunity before the power play. Atkinson takes a bit of a weird tumble. Montreal still hangs on to it. Errored pass. He can't get a shot off on that. And Philadelphia will touch that one up. So quite the sequence there. And
Yeah,
Montreal looking pretty good.
yeah, they're looking really good actually. You know, it's good to see them being able to put on the pressure, and honestly, it's forced the Philadelphia Flyers, their defenseman Ronnie Attard, to take that penalty. So it's going to be a 2-minute power play for the Habs.
That power play in the first period went pretty well. Nick Suzuki scored on it. Will they be able to go 2 for 2? I guess we'll find out. But do you think that Montreal has an opportunity to really run away with it, going up potentially 3-0?
Yeah, you know, I feel like, especially with the energy they've come out in the second period, and you see, you know, all the guys putting in a lot of effort compared to that first period. So I am honestly, I'm predicting it's going to be a power play goal, but not from the first unit. It's going to come off the second unit.
Yeah, I think that's fair too. That first power play goal, it took a while. I think it was about a minute 30 into the power play, if I'm not mistaken. Um, Montreal never really got set up until that flurry of passes happened where Nick Suzuki ended up burying it. So I'm curious to see what the game plan is here, if they've made any adjustments on their zone entries. Right now, the thing that seems to be working for them is kind of that slingshot back pass. Um, do you think that we'll see a little bit more of that? Nick Suzuki also struggling on the faceoff dot, which is why they've not had, why they did not get a ton of zone time in that first power play.
Yeah, no, it's I think they're gonna continue doing what's working for them. So that slingshot pass we've seen all year. We know it works. You know, Suzuki can drive it in, or even Alex Newhook, or even a Mike Matheson. We've seen Mike Matheson go from end to end and scores. So I'm still gonna hold up that this it's gonna be the second power play unit, but just to touch up on that first power play, it was nice to see Suzuki kick the puck to his stick and then put the puck in. So
Yeah.
a little bit of a skill right there. So it's good to see that.
For sure. And coming back from the break here, Montreal going on the power play, waiting for that puck to drop. And they've got the big line out there: Suzuki, Newhook, Caulfield, Matheson, and Slavkovsky. So Suzuki once again taking the face off. We'll see if he's able to win this one. But of course, the officials taking a little bit of time here before they drop this puck. And the puck is dropped. My mistake is actually Newhook taking the face off with Suzuki on the wing. And Montreal already has to go back to their own zone to retreat here. 13 minutes left in this period.
Aye.
And Montreal, will they get it in the zone? Suzuki carries it in. Bad pass. Terrible pass by Suzuki on the zone entry. And they have to go back and regroup. And being careful, too, because Philadelphia is quite aggressive on that forecheck.
Yeah,
So,
like they're holding them off.
yeah, can't get in clean there. We got an offside call. So that's whistled down. So a minute 26 left on the power play, and the Canadians just can't seem to do anything in the offensive zone or even really get into it. So we'll see what ends up happening. But good job to the Flyers. I think credit to the Flyers for holding off the Canadians so far.
Yeah, I think I like what I see from the Flyers. Like you mentioned, they're the forechecking really hard at that blue line. They have all four guys pretty much in the same line holding off Montreal from getting in the zone. It seems to be working.
For sure. And Montreal with another attempt to try to get into the zone here. They do it, but for how long? Slavkovsky takes a weird tumble, but gets up quickly. Now they have possession in the zone. They're set up, trying to cycle this puck around. Slavkovsky in the corner, trying to battle this one around. And a good pass there to hang on to possession. Less than a minute left on this power play, looking for some kind of an opportunity for the Canadians. They're looking for anything. Matheson with a shot that goes nowhere. I think he was looking for a deflection. That one didn't happen. And that leads to the Philadelphia Flyers clearing the zone. Caden Primo had to play it, and he's going to have to be careful as the Flyers, again, on that forecheck. Very, very aggressive. I was worried for a moment when I saw Primo with that puck on his stick. I thought this could go very wrong very quickly.
Yeah, just an arid pass right to him. That would be very unfortunate for Primo.
Absolutely. And now Montreal in the offensive zone again, trying to get something, but Philadelphia being very aggressive with the stick checks. You can hear those slapping around, and it gets cleared out to the other end of the ice. 5 seconds left. That'll do it for that power play. Montreal generating pretty much nothing there, and the majority of it going back to pick up the puck.
Yeah, just not the power play. I was expecting, not being able to come in the blue line, and then getting just Flyers always getting the puck and dumping it down, and just not exactly what we were looking for. But let's see what they can do for the remainder of the second.
For sure. And not a ton of shots in this period either. Montreal leading that category 8-7. They managed to get another shot on net, gloved down by Urson. It was a shot by Xhekaj. Not too dangerous, to be completely honest, but they managed to get a shot through at the very least. Just a little update on the out-of-town scoreboard. The Leafs up 2-1 on the Capitals during the second period here. And those looking at the wild card race, the Islanders are trailing the Flyers trailing the Panthers 2-1, 0-0, Canes and Detroit Red Wings. So you're going to want to keep an eye on a lot of these games if you're a Flyers fan, as these could have a pretty big impact on you if you end up losing tonight against the Montreal Canadiens. Canadiens Connection chimes in, and I'll let you take this one away, Nathan.
Interesting stat. 0 high danger scoring chances, 5-on-5 for the Flyers in the first 30 minutes of play. Wow.
It certainly feels like that as well. The Flyers, like I said, I don't think it's been particularly bad, but it's not been stellar, as they had a pretty good opportunity there. That one gets flipped up and over top of Primo and off the side of the net now. So that might have been their most threatening opportunity just right there. But yeah, I think it's a little bit disappointing from the Flyers. Just they seem to be lacking a little bit of skill tonight.
Yeah, I don't like. Is it like because their defensemen are young and they're just not used to playing at an NHL level, or is it just the Philadelphia Flyers just can't seem to solve the Montreal Canadiens? It's hard to say right now for them.
Yeah, definitely. And Primo had to be pretty careful on that last opportunity. Now the Flyers in the offensive zone, they look like they have a little bit more poise off that faceoff, cycling around the net. And I think one of the things too is the Montreal Canadiens have done a great job of shutting things down, clogging up the center ice, and blocking shots too. So I think some credit to the Canadiens on how they've managed the Flyers in the offensive zone.
Yeah, I do agree with you on those points, and it's good to see from a young team being able to try to build some kind of consistent gameplay over a stretch of games.
Yeah, definitely. And the Canadiens coming away with the puck here past the blue line. They don't have numbers, so they'll dump it in and go off on a change. Now behind the net, Evans passes the puck and a shot that doesn't go anywhere. Now at the point, Savard with a pass. It goes in between the legs of Newhook. And a blast from the point, covered up by Sam Urson. So the Montreal Canadiens starting to get some more shots on net, and you see that big shot from Xhekaj from the point. But to be honest, I think I'd like to see those Xhekaj slap shots come at better opportunities. That seemed like a bit of a nothing play, to be completely honest.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure there was no traffic, and it was just, Urson could see that shot right from where he took it. So, I mean, I do agree with you on that. And, maybe more like try to set up like maybe slap passes, or, if he wants to try to fake him out, just kind of change the what kind of play he does versus that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I think that that comes along with Xhekaj's development. He was sent down to Laval earlier this year, and one of the things I was hoping he would work on a little bit is his offensive capabilities, because he does have a great shot, and I think he has some good instincts. I just feel like in the NHL level, he's just not been put in a position where he could really show that off. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I do agree with you on that. For when Xhekaj went down to Laval, he had to, fix some of his gameplay, and because he's a young defenseman, that's regular stuff. He needs to go down and get that ice time down there to try to make it work up in the NHL. But I do agree with you. There's opportunities that Xhekaj should be able to be put into to show off, that skill that he does have to show why he's an important piece for the Montreal Canadiens.
Yeah, for sure. Just a little reminder to everyone who's watching along with us. We do have a live chat going, so don't hesitate to send in your comments or questions. We're also asking you a question. We want to hear your score predictions, and we want to know that before the end of the game here. We've had a couple of those come in. We'll see which one is right, and we'll give you bragging rights. So if you're on a mobile device, phone, laptop, tablet, make sure that you join that live chat. You should have it right there. If you're on a TV app, then open up your tablet, phone, or laptop. Join us on the live stream there as well, and you can get into the live chat. We'd love to hear from each and every single one of you as we watch this game together. And just a little programming note, as we've hinted at, we've said it a few times already, we're going to have Amy Johnson join us in that second intermission. So make sure you look out for that. So we'll take another 3-minute break once that clock hits 0, and then we'll be right back at it to talk some Philadelphia Flyers. And Brian Clark's going to chime in with his prediction 4-1 Habs. And you know what? That's a pretty good prediction at this point in the game. That could easily go in this direction. So thank you, Brian, for getting that in. Philadelphia Flyers now in the offensive zone as we're back in the game. Less than 10 minutes to go in the second period. Slavkovsky using the body to force a Flyers player off that puck. And now Montreal coming away with it behind the net. Being very slow and patient with it, looking for the right pass. They managed to get that. Coming through the neutral zone, past the blue line. Montreal now set up in the offensive zone, looking for a pass, and they'll have to cycle this one around. Philadelphia, though, doing a good job being first on puck as that one got cycled around behind the net and back the other way. Will Philadelphia have an odd man rush? They managed to get past the zone. That didn't end up being a rush opportunity, but they get set up. And it looks like we have a whistle here. This could be another Flyers power play.
Yeah, it looks to me a slashing call against Colin White in the neutral zone there.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Right on the glove, too, it looks like, or on the hand at least.
Oof. I would hate getting slashed in the hands.
Yeah, that looked like it hurt, too. You can see the Flyers player wincing a bit. So that's the right call. Philly back on the power play. They didn't have much on that first power play attempt, so here's the opportunity. And with Colin White, he's not been noticeable at all. And if the first time I'm seeing you, you're taking a bad slashing penalty, that must mean you're not having a great game, to be completely honest.
Yeah, I agree with you on that one. He's still searching for his first point this season.
Yeah, for sure. So Philadelphia is going to have to go back and regroup here as that puck goes out of the zone. On that first power play, they had 2 shots on goal. And what are you looking for from the Philadelphia Flyers here? Do you think that there's any kind of set play that they can have to be successful?
Well, I think they should take a page out of Montreal's book and kind of play that puck behind like the hash marks behind the net type plays and try to pass that puck up front. I think that's going to catch the Montreal Canadiens off guard and actually maybe catch Primo off guard too and allow Philadelphia to get on the board.
For sure. As they get a shot on net there, that one ends up deflecting up and going wide. And Montreal clears the puck. Minute 15 left on the power play. So still some time as Urson comes out to play the puck. And Philadelphia is going to come back the other way. So Brian Clark chimes in. I've seen Torts with the cast / brace on his hand for what seems like forever. What happened? I don't know. I tried to find this out, actually. I was thinking about it the other day, and I have no idea what happened to Torts. I hope he's okay.
Yeah, I looked into it too, and I think he's, whatever it is, he's keeping it on a hush-hush.
Yeah, fair enough. And the Flyers had a little bit of traffic there in front of Primo. That one stays out, though, and Montreal's going to come away with the puck. And it gets sent all the way out of the zone. Now the Flyers there to touch up and come back the other way. Will they get it? They do get it past the blue line. 20 seconds left, so they could get an opportunity here if they act fast or at least gain some momentum off of this power play. It's been a bit sluggish, if I'm being honest, and a shot far gets blocked. They still hang on to it. 4 seconds left on the power play. It's about to end. And they do hang on to the puck. Shot at the side of the net off of Primo. And Montreal does clear it out as the power play expires. And they're in the offensive zone. There's Colin White, who gets pushed over. He takes a tumble now. And Philadelphia comes away with the puck again, but gives it right back to Colin White. Shot in front. There you go. Nifty play there by Colin White to hang on to the puck after falling over.
Yeah, I think he did some thinking in that penalty box.
Yeah. So Struble with a shot stopped by Urson. Oof. And now behind the net, the Montreal Canadiens cycling the puck around to the point. And now Philadelphia being very slow and cautious as they dump this to the other end. Now you're throwing the body around to try and get possession, but Montreal hangs on to it. 5 minutes left in this period. Paling with a wide open opportunity. Great shot, and that one stays out.
Big save.
Oof, Paling with speed. The Flyers have another pretty decent opportunity there. Didn't look high danger at least. So nice to see Paling at least.
Yeah, no, it's I've heard he's had like an up and down season with the Flyers since he's been on them, and I heard the coach really likes him. So good to see him out there playing against his former team.
Neon chimes in with a Flyers broadcast has spent 30 seconds talking about how Vegas traded Suzuki to get Jack Eichel. Clearly did not do the research. I'll have to see the trade tree. Maybe somehow it's connected, but it was a Suzuki for Max Pacioretty. So, yeah, unfortunate for the Flyers broadcast there. This is why you tune in and watch with us. We'll bring you that accurate information. And in response to Brian Clark's question about Torts, Amy says, I believe Torts had a hand surgery in February. And Brian Clark asking, dust up with Keith Jones? I hope not. And Canadiens Connection, John Tortorella, just surgery on the hand, old age. So we'll see. I think it's going to remain a mystery as to what happened to Tortorella's hand. I just hope he's okay and it recovers all right. It feels like forever since he's had that cast.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's probably, carpal tunnel or something minor probably, we hope.
Yeah, for sure. So wishing him a speedy recovery. And if you like Tortorella talk, we'll talk plenty of John Tortorella in that second intermission with Amy when she comes on with us. So far, it's been kind of a snoozer of a second period as we get back to it.
Yeah, the shots are like we're coming up to the end of the second here, and we're only 10 apiece.
I don't think we're getting to 20 for either team. That's my prediction at the very least. But Montreal still hanging on to that 2-0 lead after the first. Paling just had a pretty good opportunity before the commercial break there, coming into the zone with speed. A nice shot. I think Primo got a piece of it, but this goes up and over the glass afterwards.
Yeah, no, it's a good opportunity for the Flyers, and they need a couple more of those to hopefully get on the board here.
For sure. And the Flyers behind the net, looking for an option. Konechny's out there. If you want to get your goals going, that's the guy right there that can do it. And Zamula at the point. Philadelphia dancing around looking for any kind of option. Montreal not giving them much. That man-to-man body coverage and physicality has been detrimental. Slap shot from the point. Great opportunity. Stopped by Primo off of kind of a weird bouncing deflection.
Yeah, I'm not sure if that was tipped by a Flyers player to go off one of ours, but a huge toe save by Caden Primo.
For sure. And we get some whistles here. Looks like some jousting going on, and Scott Lawton in the middle of it. Let's see the replay on what happened here. And, of course, Zamula with a great slap pass almost. That was a pretty nice setup, actually, on the replay. That had a lot more spit on it than I thought.
A little one leg in the air, kind of almost on a knee. Little hand-eye. Just a lot of crazy stuff happening on that one.
Yeah, so a nice heads-up stop there by Caden Primo. Canadiens Connection chimes in. John Tortorella on Ryan Paling. He's not great at anything. He's not great at defending, but he can defend. He's not a great scorer, but he can score from time to time, like his consistency. So John Tortorella talking about Ryan Paling there. Of course, Ryan Paling, the former Hab, and super excited to see him tonight. One thing I always liked about Paling is his speed. And speaking of speed, Philly in the zone with some speed, forcing that puck in front of Caden Primo. Couple of stops there, a bit of a scramble, and that puck stays out and in play.
Yeah, no, it's that was a lot of bouncing pucks there in front of Primo. Good thing that stayed out.
And the other way, Montreal on an odd-man break gets a nice shot on net, and they keep it in the zone. So starting to come alive here. Shots 13-11 for Philly. Maybe we'll get to 20 before the end of the game in the shot department.
Yeah, the one thing I liked about Ryan Poehling, just to go back on that, his first game with the Habs, scored a hat trick against Toronto. That must be a very good feeling, and definitely a good thing to do against a rival team for sure. And good on your NHL debut.
For sure. And how Montreal trying to break the other way with speed, but Philly clogs up that neutral zone. We'll get a whistle here, though. 3 minutes and 10 seconds left in the period. Still 2-0 for the Montreal Canadiens. Things just starting to come alive. A couple of good opportunities on both sides. I think Primo a little bit lucky during that scramble that the puck stayed out.
Yeah.
Not great saves, but just enough to keep the puck out. And he's not been tracking that loose puck very well. I think he tried to glove it up and cover it up at the end, but was unable to.
Yeah, no, Cam, good on Cam York for coming up the ice and making that play possible, driving into the net and getting opportunities for the Flyers. So good for Cam York.
So now behind that Philly net in the corner, battling for the puck. Montreal trying to come away with it. They do. And it looks like Savard might have been a little bit banged up in that battle along the boards. Now Philly on a 2-on-1. Shot and save made. Looked pretty harmless, to be completely honest. And now Philly hangs on to the puck in the offensive zone. Looks like they're opting to play with the puck at the point here. They're having a hard time getting around the Montreal Canadiens. Wow.
Yeah, and I liked what David Savard was doing there in front of the net, just tying up that one player, not even focusing on the puck, focusing on his stick, and Montreal was able to get the puck and get it out of the zone. So good for David Savard.
For sure. Now Philadelphia behind the net. They're going to look to break out that puck. 2 minutes left. Puck behind the Montreal net. They get there first. Now Philly battling for it, trying to get literally anything going for themselves. And Montreal manages to clear the zone, coming the other way. Almost an odd-man break, but a good stick there by the Philadelphia defenseman. Now behind the net. And Montreal manages to hang on to it. Oof. And that one doesn't get quite through to the net, blocked by Sanheim. Minute 25 to go. Montreal buzzing in the offensive zone. Behind the net, it's the fourth line. Colin White out there, causing a little bit of havoc as he takes a tumble. Now 1:10 left in the period here.
Yeah, the fourth line is looking pretty good right now, keeping that puck deep, and Pizzetta and White, cycling through. It's looking pretty good.
Yeah, a little bit of a surprise there. They don't have a ton of talent, but certainly outmatched the Philadelphia Flyers during that sequence. And as we approach the final minute here, less than a minute to go, we'll take a 3-minute break when the clock hits 0, and we'll be right back after that for our intermission show alongside Amy Johnson to talk about the Philadelphia Flyers. So if you're a Philly fan, stick around and let us know too if you're a Philadelphia Flyers fan in that chat. Now Caulfield circling the net. He doesn't get a shot off. Cross ice to Harris in the middle of that blue line. Backhander hits the crossbar. Great sequence there for the Canadiens.
That was a lethal backhand.
Luckily, Philly clears the zone, but Montreal right back at it. 10 seconds left. Will they get a shot off? No. Philadelphia doing a good job shutting that one down. 2 seconds left. Will we get a final shot? Nah. Flubs the shot. Can't get it done. And no scrum at the end of this period as of yet. It seems like the players are being nice and heading off the ice. So 2-0.
Chatting.
So 2-0 for the Montreal Canadiens. We'll be back here in about 3 minutes. We're going to take a quick intermission. And we're back. Rocket Sports Media live stream. Montreal Canadiens taking on the Philadelphia Flyers. And it's the second intermission. Just before we invite Amy Johnson into the studio, let's do a quick recap here. Shots in that period from Rick Stevens, Rocket Sports, at Rocket Sports on Twitter, are 9-6 for the Philadelphia Flyers. And the Habs lead 2-0. The two CH goals still from Suzuki on the power play, his 30th of the season, and Jesse Ylönen, his 4th of the season. And with that, without any further ado, let's welcome our special guest, Amy Johnson, to the show. How's it going, Amy?
Gentlemen, how are you?
Doing great. Happy to have you here and talk about the Flyers. I thought I saw an opportunity and I felt like, you know what? We don't hear Amy talk about the Flyers.
Well, I usually have the journalist hat on, so I get to take that off. And as you can see, Flyers fans, I'm actually repping the Eagles today. So,
Nice.
Phillies postponed their home opener today, so we're going with the Eagles love today.
Sounds good to me. And just before we get into it here, let's just promo some of the things. And I know you contribute to Rocket Sports quite a bit. Head over to thn.com. And Amy, you on there quite often will cover the Laval Rocket. Sometimes you pitch in with some feature articles along the way as well. So make sure you check that out. Also, follow at Rocket Sports on Twitter, at Rocket Sports Media Inc. on Facebook, at Rocket Sports Media on Instagram, and check out the podcast, CanadiansConnection.fm. An episode comes out every single Saturday. And last week, Amy, you were on there to take us through that first intermission. Let's talk about some of the things you do for Rocket Sports for a second here. You're quite frequently seen on this channel. Can you tell us about all the things that you do for us?
Well, wear many hats. I'm the lead correspondent for our Laval Rocket coverage. So, of course, if you check us out on the hockey news at thn.com/Montreal, you'll see that I do the game recaps for Laval's away games, along with my colleague Chris G, who covers all of the home games here on the channel. However, I absolutely love all of our viewers here on the channel. Everyone here on the channel who's subscribed, and even if you're not subscribed, why aren't you subscribed? Everyone's so supportive, and we're here multiple times a week. Every Tuesday, I host a show called the Rocket Hockey Report, and that's a show that's completely catching you up on everything that happened with the Laval Rocket from the week prior, and also focusing on which prospects were really performing well for the Laval Canadiens prospects during that time period. And then every Thursday, I'm back with the Habs Hockey Report, where I touch on whatever hot topic is surrounding the Montreal Canadiens that particular week, and sometimes even just the NHL in general. It's tons of fun. And if you haven't checked it out, then just head over to our playlist tab, and you can find the Rocket Hockey Report and the Habs Hockey Report.
And make sure you hit subscribe if you like what you saw. Also, tap the notification bell. That way you get notified every single time we come out with a nice brand new piece of content. And I think it's time to talk a little bit about these Philadelphia Flyers. I'm pretty excited. You said in the chat earlier you're a lifelong Flyers fan, but you do cover the Montreal Canadiens primarily. And I have to ask, I have to get your opinion here. What's your confidence level in this goaltending tandem? Obviously, Carter Hart stepped away. They've been running with Sam Ersson, the rookie. He's been quite busy this season. You have Sandstrom there. You have Cal Peterson kind of in the mix, but not really. And maybe someone else on the way. So can you break down this whole Philadelphia Flyers goaltending situation for me?
Yeah, it's the Flyers found themselves kind of thrown into this bit of chaos and upheaval with goaltending, and of course, when is that not a common theme for the Philadelphia Flyers? Of course, between Ersson and Sandstrom, no, of course, if John Tortorella or Danny Briere had their druthers at the beginning of the season, would they be riding a tandem that looks like this? No, they wouldn't. But given that, Ersson and Sandstrom are doing their best to hold their own and at least give the guys in front of them the confidence that they've at least got a shot to win games every night. The great thing I think about Sam Ersson, he's actually leading NHL rookie goaltenders right now in wins, which maybe, people aren't talking about Sam Ersson enough for that stat maybe. And he's actually tied 8th among all NHL goaltenders in shutouts. He's got 3. So, Sam Ersson is doing He's kind of doing the yeoman's work back there, had a big burden put on his shoulders, and he seems to be weathering the storm. Sandstrom is doing his best as well. He admittedly had a less than stellar game the other night, but it really wasn't completely his fault as well. In fact, I know you mentioned it earlier in the show that Tortorella, when asked about Sandstrom's performance in that game, really actually didn't comment. He just kind of shrugged and said, "I don't have anything to say about it." And of course, the media kind of took that as a dig on Sandstrom. And full credit to John Tortorella, he went and sought out his goaltender the next day and apologized for not going to bat for him better. And then at his next press conference, said to the media, "Listen, I misrepresented uh, myself and Felix at yesterday's press conference. I shouldn't have done that, and it's not his fault. We're all good." So, I think they're all just kind of doing the best they can with the situation that they've been given.
Yeah. And how about a bit of a complex situation that could involve the Philadelphia Flyers getting a little bit more goaltending depth? What's going on here?
Apparently, this seems to be the week for Flyers prospects in the KHL to have their contracts terminated in order to start bringing them over to North America. Because earlier in the week, this Alexei Kolosov had his contract terminated. Looks like he's going to start making his way over. He will likely play for the Lehigh Valley Phantoms. He's another goaltender. But today, the news coming out that 27-year-old goaltender Ivan Fedotov, CSKA Moscow, terminated his contract after just 1 year. And it looks like, according to Elliot Friedman and other Flyers insiders, that Danny Briere is working out a deal to get him over here. He is on the last year of his ELC, believe it or not, at 27. Just a little background on Fedotov. So he was drafted back in 2015. He signed a 1-year contract for a little over $1 million back in May of 2022. Well, that's when kind of all of the geopolitical upheaval in Russia and Ukraine started. And as is the law in Russia, he was actually conscripted to do military time. And so he could not report to the Flyers at that time. And he did not play for the 2022-23 season. At the end of that, when his conscription was done, instead of reporting to the Flyers, he signed a 2-year deal with CSKA Moscow in the KHL. And the IIHF handed him and CSKA sanctions. They suspended him for 4 months and they sanctioned CSKA Moscow, saying that he had violated the international transfer rules. So it was a whole big mess. The Flyers, it was deemed still, they had a valid contract. He should have reported to the Flyers. And so he is still under an ELC with the Flyers. Danny Briere has worked his magic like he seems to have done all this season, and Moscow has agreed to terminate his contract. Now it's just a matter of figuring out visa and any other lingering IIHF issues about his playing eligibility. And it looks like they might get a 6'8", 27-year-old goaltender to maybe help them out down the stretch through the playoffs.
And just one quick follow-up. Thank you very much for explaining that, first of all, as there were just so many moving parts here. It was hard to understand, and I think our viewers appreciate that breakdown. But is this someone that you think could fill in for a backup role behind Urson down the stretch, or do you think he's going to maybe go to the Lehigh Valley Phantoms?
I think if they're going to use him at all, I think they're going to this is kind of a make it or break it opportunity for Fedotov, because he does become an unrestricted free agent this summer. So if Danny Briere is going to use this as an evaluation period to not only help kind of act as a stopgap for Urson and Sandstrom going into the postseason, I think it's also a bit of an audition period for Briere to actually see what kind of goaltender he's got there and make a decision as to whether or not he's going to try to re-sign him over the summer. As I said, they've also got Alexei Kolosov coming. Bjarnason he's the same age as Bjarnason, so they've got some things bubbling in the pipeline, but Fedotov might be more of a let's see what he has right now. He had a pretty successful season for Moscow this year, so I think they probably want to see how that transitions coming over to the NHL and see if it can at least help them if they make it to the postseason.
Listener, or I guess viewer question comes in. I popped it up earlier, but Amy, Flyers have a rich history of goaltenders. Bernie Parent, Lindbergh, Ron Hextall, Brizgalov. Who's your favorite Flyers goalie of all time?
The baiting going on by the Canadiens Connection podcast here is I don't know that I'm going to fall for this baiting, but yes, I do have. Well, that's actually an unfair question because there's actually a lot of goaltenders that I have a lot of respect for in the Flyers organization. Bernie Parent being one of them. Hexy, just for who Hexy is. Well, the same thing could be said for Briz as well. But yes, my favorite Flyers goaltender, Marty Biron. It's got to be Marty
Nice.
Biron, who also is now a friend of Rocket Sports Media. We have him as a guest at least once a year on the Canadiens Connection podcast, and he's always a great interview and a great guy to chat with. So I got to go with Marty Biron.
Awesome. Great pick there. And I know Nathan has a very burning question about these Philadelphia Flyers for you. So I'll let Nathan take it away.
Yeah, so Amy, I'm wondering, how are the Philadelphia Flyers in a playoff spot despite being in a rebuild and also kind of being sellers at the trade deadline?
I think a lot of this is chalked up to the type of team that the Flyers are. I mean, it's well known that the reason why the Flyers are such a a, a popular team in Philadelphia is because just like other Philadelphia sports teams, they're kind of like that blue collar, work really hard, just grind away, get it done. And John Tortorella instills that in them as well. I think Tortorella has been a terrific option as a head coach for the Philadelphia Flyers. And I think that between him and the leadership on the team, the Travis Konechny's, the Scotty Laughtons, even Sean Couturier, the Owen Tippett's, Joel Farabee, you saw him tonight. He's got that grit and that edge to him as well. I think these guys have a very strong unit in the locker room together, and I think they're just battling for each other each and every night, and I think that's turning into a really cohesive unit out on the ice.
Yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense for sure. And as we approach that third period, I just got one or two more questions for you before I let you go here.
Sure.
And well, I don't know if it's so much of a question as it is, well, how about that torch guy?
Like I just said, I was thrilled when they hired John Tortorella. I knew I've always respected what kind of coach John Tortorella is. He doesn't pull any punches. You know exactly where you stand with him at all times. And while there are some people and some players who can't take that kind of blunt honesty, I think that every guy in that room respects him for it. I think he's a tremendous coach. He has a huge heart. He's a great person off the ice and away from hockey as well. And I just think that he's been a really, really great piece of the puzzle for the Philadelphia Flyers. And I hope he's there for a long time.
Yeah, absolutely. We appreciate that. And I believe that's all the time that we get with you today as that third period's about to start. But I'll let you do one final thing because I think we've got a few seconds. How about the Habs hockey report last week, talking about Logan Mailloux? I'm going to play a clip, and how can you tee this up for me?
Well, basically, just talking a little bit. This was actually a video that just came out today. So head on over to after the show. Open up a new tab, head over to our videos channel to check out today's Habs hockey report, where I break down about 9 defensive prospects who could all be competing for one of those few roster spots with the Canadiens on the defensive side of things in September. And this is a little bit about Logan Mailloux's stats this year. Logan Mailloux was an AHL All-Star this year in his rookie season. He is tied for 6th place of all rookie skaters in the AHL. That's forwards or defensemen in terms of points with his 42 points. In AHL defensemen, he is 3rd in AHL defensemen in points with 42 and 4th in AHL defensemen with those 14 goals. Gets even better though. He leads all AHL rookie defensemen in points and goals, and he is 2nd in rookie defensemen in assists with those 28 assists. Logan Mailloux is absolutely taking his position in the AHL by storm. And is one of the biggest success stories coming out of Laval so far this year.
So awesome clip there from Amy Johnson. Habs Hockey Report out now on this channel. Thank you once again for tuning in with us here to watch this Amy Johnson on with us during this intermission. And thank you, Amy Johnson, for joining us. We appreciated all that information and everything you do here for Rocket Sports. So thank you very much for that once again.
Thanks so much. It was great being here with you guys.
We appreciate it.
See everybody in the chat.
So thank you, Amy Johnson, for that. That was a great interview there, talking about the Philadelphia Flyers as we get back to the third period in just a few moments. The puck's about to drop there. And just a little reminder, too, if you have not done already, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below. So that way you don't miss out on any of our content. And catching up on the chat, as a few things did happen along the way before we got to that interview, is Canadiens Connection says players linger on the ice glaring at each other at the end of the period. So after that second period, both teams very much not happy with each other there. And Canadiens Connection also says Tortorella tore a strip off the officials as he exited the ice. So the Philadelphia Flyers in general not happy with the officiating tonight, and that's come pretty apparent. And we'll get this third period underway here as that puck is just about to drop. The Montreal Canadiens still up 2-0. And Nathan, what are you looking forward to in this third?
Well, I'm looking forward to both teams coming out pretty hard and fast. I know Montreal wants to come out and defend a lead and maybe make that lead a little bit bigger, but for the Philadelphia Flyers, they're coming out. They're going to continue forechecking. They're going to continue playing that body. Because they gotta get a bounce here for themselves to get a goal on the board here early. I just feel like it's going to be a heavy, hard-hitting, fought battle in this third period.
For sure. We've not seen a fight yet, but of course, both teams showing that they don't like each other. Are you anticipating a fight tonight?
Well, Pizzetta, Jackai, I know those guys have had some words with some of the Philadelphia players. And I think, honestly, considering if Philadelphia doesn't score, I have a feeling there's going to be a fight tonight.
For sure. And looking forward to the potential of that happening. Obviously, Montreal has Arbor Jackai, not someone that's afraid to drop the gloves there. If you're the Philadelphia Flyers, unfortunately, no Nick Delorier. He's a healthy scratch. You might see a Scott Lawton drop the gloves, or we did see Owen Tippett get pretty feisty in that second period too. So seems like just about any one of these players might be willing to do it.
Yeah, and honestly, I love to see a fight every now and then, and tonight would be a good night to see one.
For sure. So this third period is underway here, about 20 seconds in. The Montreal Canadiens still have that lead. I'm going to avoid saying a word, but what do you think about the potential of Caden Primo not letting any goals in tonight?
You know what, Caden Primo, I feel that he's had a couple shutouts this year, so I feel that he's playing pretty well for what's being shot at him. But I think that for the remainder of this period, if he can continue to play like he has and tracking the puck, I think it could be a good period for him for this third.
For sure. And what about in the other net? Samuel Urson, we talked about him at length there with Amy, but do you think that he's going to be pretty strong in this third period? Do you think he'll get tested much?
To be honest, I think he's going to play strong for the rest of this period. I think at the back of his mind, he knows he's down by 2 goals and he wants to give his team an opportunity to fight back. So yes, I think Samuel Urson's going to play hard, but will the chances be there by the Montreal Canadiens? That's kind of where I'm in question about, because Philadelphia kind of picked it up with the second period there and outshooting Montreal 9-6. So.
For sure. And puck dropped in the Montreal zone here. About 19-20 left in this period. So plenty of hockey to go. And we'll see if these Philadelphia Flyers can pick up the pace. A little reminder, too, you have up until pretty much the end of the game to get into that live chat. Let us know your score predictions. If you have not already, we'd love to hear from you. And a great opportunity there from the Flyers pretty early on. And they managed to hang on to possession, and they'll cycle this around. So the Flyers coming out with quite a bit of energy. Another shot, that gets blocked, and the Montreal Canadiens have them stymied so far.
Mm-hmm.
So behind the nets, Gallagher in the offensive zone, but he can't do anything with it. Almost had a nice opportunity, error pass, and now the Flyers back the other way.
That was a little battle of the 11s behind the Philadelphia's net.
Love that. And now Philadelphia in the offensive zone again here. And it's loose at the side of the net and by Primo. And Montreal Canadiens all up in their crease. It looks like there's a goal here.
What?
Primo's not happy about that, but this is a weird sequence going on as, loose puck. And the Montreal Canadiens all over Caden Primo. Kind of feel bad for Primo. He had no chance to pick up the puck there. The puck dribbled behind him.
Oh, wow.
And the Flyers really just forced that one in.
Mm-hmm.
You think there was some interference going on here? I don't think so, but
definitely some pushing with a stick.
Yeah.
Questionable, where who like how it was all playing out. There's just too many sticks and bodies there. Yeah, just a squeaker.
Yeah, it looks like they're going to take a quick look at this. So, yeah, a lot of shenanigans going on in that net. So, we'll see if the Flyers manage to get back into it, but that's a pretty good start to the period if this goal does stand. I just worry that might get called back for goalie interference. I don't know that I would agree that there's interference on it, but
yeah, I wouldn't say interference maybe for the Philadelphia player. It looks more of Montreal's players kind of ran the net, and they are trying to keep that puck out.
Yeah, puck definitely crosses the goal line there. I know that's what they're showing on the replay as we watch along here, but
is there a kick?
Yeah, maybe a kick is what they're looking at.
Oh, okay.
That'd be interesting. We'll see from the up top angle here, but you can't really see anything. There's 3 Montreal bodies in that net, so it's difficult to see.
Yeah, they showed a net view, and it shows red, and then you see a orange and white sock kind of move forward with his foot, and the puck's in the back of the net. But was that him kicking it in, or was that Montreal helping it? You don't know.
So, yeah, I'm curious to see what the end of this call is going to be here. So we're about to get the call. Yeah, no goal.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So that one gets called back.
It's unfortunate for the Philadelphia Flyers.
Yeah, and we're going to get a Philly penalty, or Philadelphia to the power play, maybe. Waiting to see how this one gets called. Yeah, ruled distinct kicking motion. It's a little bit hard to hear the official over the crowd erupting with reaction there, but. So John Tortorella looks pretty unhappy about that, arguing that one probably went in. Doesn't like the explanation of it, but that one gets called back. Tough break for the Philadelphia Flyers off a distinct kicking motion. And I think you probably saw this one best. It just looked like an orange sock came through and the skate kicked that puck. Yeah.
But then that penalty by Josh Anderson, that was definitely not needed.
Yeah, penalty to Josh Anderson. So Flyers to the power play. So Philly does get an opportunity. 0 for 2 on the power play so far, the Flyers. This could be a make or break situation. They certainly had momentum, but I'm hoping that they at least stick with it through the remainder of the game here.
Yeah, it's, let's see what they can do on this power play. The first 2, they had some opportunities, but Montreal was able to keep that puck out of their net.
For sure. Minute 30 left on the power play here for the Flyers as they immediately had to go back and retrieve it. Shot there gets blocked and the Canadiens send it out past center. So it's going to be about a minute 20 left on the power play. Plenty of time for them to get something going, but Montreal sacrificing the body quite a bit here. The Flyers have been struggling with that all night, and error pass to no one. That one gets cleared out easy. Not sure what they were doing there. What do you think happened?
I think the player was supposed to drop in towards the circles, and he decided to hang up on the blue line there. A little miscommunication.
Absolutely. Now back in the offensive zone, and less than a minute on this power play. The Flyers with a shot. Primo stops it. Now the Flyers hang on to it still, cycling it around. And Montreal being very aggressive on the body right now. They managed to hang on to the puck, keep it in the offensive zone, and another errant pass into the feet of Zamula, and that goes out of the zone. They have to regroup here. Less than 20 seconds left now. And puck takes a weird bounce off the glass, and Montreal has the puck now. I think that's going to do it. 10 seconds left on the power play. Unless Philly can get in quick. Nah. Primo has the puck now, so I think that's it on the power play. Not much going well for the Flyers right now. That was not a great effort, and you can see the frustration start to kick in.
Yeah, you can probably see the physical play probably pick up and the tempers flaring, like you were saying. I think that's going to be the theme to the rest of this third period for the Flyers.
So now Montreal in the offensive zone here. Evans with the puck. Plenty of time and space as both teams are on a bit of a change. And bit of a weird deflection. Philly comes away with the puck now. Couturier can't handle the puck at his own blue line. Luckily, his teammate helps him out. And now Flyers crossing the blue line. That one goes all the way around and out of the zone. So the Flyers, I don't know what's going on here, but they lost a step after that goal got called back. I wonder if that's going to be the game right there, basically.
Yeah, I feel that they're just everything is just their wires aren't lined up. Like they're not making passes. Their puck's going out of the zone, and it's sloppy right now. And I feel for the Flyers, but again, there's still lots of time in this third period. Maybe they can get a spark here.
For sure. So 15:22 left in this period. Yeah, I think Montreal seems to be prevailing so far. It's interesting that first period after these two goals, that's just been what's held things up. The Flyers really haven't generated much offense. I think at times they've looked like a better team, but yeah, it's been kind of a rough game for Philadelphia overall. I kind of feel bad for them at this point.
Yeah, and you know what, to kind of bring up the other game against Colorado, this is very similar stuff. You know, Montreal scored 2 in the first, Colorado scored 1, and that ended up being the score 2-1, right? And this is kind of the makings of how that other game played out for the Montreal Canadiens, and you know, maybe what St. Louis has said to the guys is working for them. Well, at least for now, it's working for them.
For sure. And just a little announcement here is we're in the final period of this game. Our next NHL live stream is going to be April 2nd. The Canadiens taking on the Florida Panthers. So a quick turnaround here. Make sure you mark your calendar and tune in for that. We'd love to have you all back here to watch along with us as the Montreal Canadiens take on the Florida Panthers April 2nd. So big hit, almost a big hit by Suzuki at center ice there. Luckily, the Flyers player is able to stay on his feet. So some nice strike there. And Philadelphia gains his own once again. But Goulet battling for that puck. And along the corner, it looks like Slavkovsky sends it back to his defenseman. It's Matheson. And Matheson being very patient, passing that up to Slavkovsky. And dump and chase here. Montreal gets to the puck first. Sending that puck around. The Flyers come away with it. It's going to go back the other way. And the Flyers through the middle. A nice pass in front, connecting with a shot. That one gets stopped by Primo. And a goal.
Whew.
Weird bounce, and that one goes into the net. Seemingly harmless and handled play, and the Flyers cut the lead down to 1.
Well, there's the spark they needed.
Yeah, definitely. That kind of came out of nowhere. I'm going to have to see the replay, but you get Konechny in center ice here, in between the hash marks with a shot off the glass. I guess the puck just took a really weird bounce.
Yeah,
almost even didn't see it.
Yeah, it looks like Konechny shot it from the corner. Or sorry, Farabee, and went off the inside leg of Primo and like threw his 5-hole and into the net.
Canadiens Connection saying challenging for offside. You can see Marty looking at his iPad with a lot of focus, and yeah, the challenge is coming through. So will this one stand, or another goal going to get called back here? Would be super unfortunate. I can't think of a time I've seen a team have 2 goals called back in the same period.
Yeah, I don't think I've seen it either, and that'd be something to look up. Oh,
That's close.
that's a closer. That's a
Yeah.
close one.
Oh, I wonder if it is going to get called back. So looking
Yeah, you
at
see the white,
yeah.
but it's hard to tell. I need that overhead view.
Ooh, yeah, that's so close. Oh, that it might actually be offside.
Torts is gonna blow up.
It's by a hair. So, what do you think is going to happen here?
Judging by this angle, see, I can't see the puck. I can only see the white. I'm gonna say they're gonna say it's a goal and they're gonna want a power play.
Yeah, I think that's fair too. But yeah, it's just so close. Even that angle, I think it's hard to tell. So we'll
Need that
see
zoom
what this
function.
call ends up being. Hopefully, this isn't one of those 10-minute reviews, but
Oh yeah, so when they move the frame, it's hard. It's like right there. I got a different camera view, and it's like
yeah.
right there.
And while the review's happening, just to let everyone know, the Leafs are up 4-1 on the Washington Capitals. So the Capitals will, in fact, not be leapfrogging the Philadelphia Flyers in the standings tonight, regardless of the result here in this game.
Mm-hmm. That's good for the Philadelphia Flyers, and probably takes a little stress off them.
Yeah, it might be the only break they catch tonight.
Yes. Unless they count this one.
Yeah. So it's taken a while for them to review this one. I can see why it's by just a hair, but man, these offside reviews are kind of crazy. We're getting the call now, and we'll see. No goal. It's called back. Oh man, I don't think I've seen that before. The Philadelphia Flyers have nothing going for them right now. That is so unfortunate, but for the Montreal Canadiens,
Oh yeah, right there.
this is good news. So great call there by Marty St. Louis to challenge that one.
Yeah, no, it's normally when I see St. Louis doing a coaching call or coaching challenge, I'm like, they haven't really worked out totally in his favor this year.
For sure. So still 2-0 for the Montreal Canadiens as they gain the offensive zone. In the chat, Canadiens Connection says Primo getting the breaks. Can he earn his third of the season? We're not going to say the word here. I don't want to jinx it. So there you go. Less than 14 to go in the period. Will this stand? Will this just end as a 2-0 victory for the Canadiens? It's looking that way. The Flyers definitely showing some frustration. Some of their passes just not connecting. Almost in front there. Almost a bad giveaway to the Philadelphia Flyers, but Primo poke checks that away.
Yeah, can the bad luck continue for the Flyers this period?
For sure. And Flyers in the offensive zone, like they're definitely playing with some energy. I'm just not sure that they have the detail that they had earlier in the game. Oh, a nice setup by Hathaway, but pass misses, shot misses.
Yeah,
They still hang on to the puck.
It's good zone time. I think that's against Montreal's fourth line too. That's it's kind of a good position for the Flyers, to be honest.
Yeah. So Montreal is going to start getting tired here pretty quickly if Philly keeps this up. And Philly along the blue line sends it to the corner.
Wow.
They don't see too many options out there. I think Montreal clogging up the center ice has been pretty good. And we'll get a penalty.
Wow.
Oof. Hathaway and Pizzetta kind of both hit the ice there.
Yeah, they're still chirping each other.
So there we go. Penalty coming up. We'll have another power play, and the Philadelphia Flyers just with the worst luck in the NHL right now. 2 goals called back. The first one distinct kicking motion. The second one offside by the slightest amount. And yeah, we'll see. Will it take 3 goals in order for one to stand here?
Yeah, well, if it's the luck that the Flyers have been having, they might score and it might get taken back. You never know. But
Yeah.
a hooking call on Jack-Eye, that's not what you want to do, especially being hemmed in your zone.
Yeah, so the Flyers yet to score on the power play. 3 opportunities so far. So 0-3 on the power play are the Flyers, and they've not looked great on the power play either. Not getting a ton of high danger chances at all. We'll see how it goes. To be honest, with both of those calls, I do think they ended up getting the right calls in the end. It's just so unfortunate when you see 2 goals consecutively get called back.
Yeah, and for the team, they're probably asking themselves, "Okay, what are we doing wrong to deserve this?" It's like they've got the puck possession, they're in the zone. Like it's just the passes and the shots aren't connecting.
Looking at the chat here, Amy says at least Torts didn't toss a Laviolette style, typical Montreal in the mix to the refs. So, I mean, Torts has been behaving so far. I know that Canadiens Connection pointed out that Torts was jawing at the refs at the end of that second period, but at least during the in-play and what we've seen, he seems to have kept his composure for the most part, not being removed from the game or anything, as one might expect from a John Tortorella. But I think if the Flyers can't get anything on this power play, I think it's basically a done game at this point.
Yeah, I agree with you on that one. It's just, they've been trying, and it just hasn't worked out for them. And like you said, if it doesn't work out on this power play, it'll be very hurtful for them.
For sure. Canadiens Connection chimes in. 3rd minor penalty for Jack-Eye tonight. Remember what happened the last time he took too many penalties this season? And I think this emoji from Amy describes it all. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. Flyers power play begins. And at the point, one timer by Tippett. That one gets blocked. And once again, Montreal blocking shots there. So shots only 16-12 right now in favor of the Philadelphia Flyers. So that it's been pretty low in the shot department, as we've said a few times. And Philadelphia right back on the power play after that face-off. Once again, Tippett at the side there. The side of the net looking for a pass. Great stop by Primo, getting across his crease with the pad save. And Philadelphia keeps that one alive. At the blue line, looking for their opportunities. Philadelphia looking for a shot here. They take it. Stopped by Primo. That one got through from the point. And now battling in the corner. You have 4 or 5 bodies in that corner, and the Philadelphia Flyers come away with it. Tippett to Konechny, and Konechny with the shot. Stopped right on by Primo. So not great quality chances once again from the Flyers. I think they've had shots, but besides that cross crease pad stop by Primo, it seems like there's just not been a whole lot of good opportunities,
Yeah, I agree with you on that one, and it's that's kind of the reason why the Flyers haven't been able to put one in the back of the net. But one of the stats I've seen with both these teams, normally when these teams meet every game, and normally they average about 5.5 goals a game between the both of them. You couldn't imagine that stat seeing a 2-0 game, could you?
Yeah. So another stop by Primo there. 50 seconds left on the power play for the Flyers still. I think they're changing up their units, and that puck gets out of the zone, so they'll have to go back and regroup. So 40 seconds. They'll have to get moving a little bit quickly here if they want to have some nice zone time. Approaching 30 seconds left on the power play now. 11 minutes left in the 3rd period. And that puck goes up and over the glass. Zamula is not so happy about how the puck deflected there. But good sequence. I think from the Flyers, this is probably the best power play so far. You're seeing a little bit more from them, but again, I think credit to some of these Montreal Canadiens too. Like just the amount of shots they block and how physical they've been. You have to give them credit.
No, for sure. Biggest thing is that, like, remember last game when the Flyers played Montreal Canadiens, they were out shooting Montreal 10-2 in that first period. It was, it was all Flyers last game. And to see this kind of unlucky luck for them, it's kind of sucks for them, to be honest.
For sure. Another shot from the Flyers. That one gets stopped by Primo. Back to the point, 10 seconds left. Forster with a shot. Now back to full strength, and Montreal comes away with the puck, trying to set up Xhekaj for an odd man break, but that puck bounces off his skates. So could have had an odd man rush led by Xhekaj out of the box. But Philadelphia comes away with it now. Credit for one shot on that power play. Now up to 17 shots on the night. 10 minutes to go in this game. And Montreal clears the zone. So now the Philadelphia Flyers coming back the other way, or at least trying to. They get stopped up a little bit, and they do exit their zone, and that puck seems to have hit the bench. So that gets whistled down now. So someone said the word. Yost chimes in and says the forbidden word. So we'll see if this actually works or not. But yes, Caden Primo, still no goals scored against. It's still on. He could end up with his third of the season.
Yeah, so I mean, to talk about the Flyers power play, when I think back to that game against the Montreal Canadiens on January 10th, the Flyers went 1 for 2. They went 50% on the power play, and to see them go, they went 0 for 4 now this game.
Yeah.
So I mean, like, what's changed, between that Philadelphia team and this Philadelphia team? It's kind of something they have to figure out, because they're battling for a playoff spot, and if they don't figure it out, they might be a little stressed out when it came to the end of the season.
Yeah, if they lose today, that'll be 3 consecutive losses for them. And yeah, this is not the time of year for them to be doing that. I know that bit of a surprise that they're in that playoff position, but if they were to fall out of it at this point, would be a pretty big disappointment for that franchise, to be completely honest. But the luck is on their side, as the Leafs are now up 5-1 on the Washington Capitals. So don't have to worry about that. The standings will not change, at least in that regard, tonight. Pittsburgh right now up 3-2 with 6 minutes left against the Blue Jackets. So that's good news for the Pittsburgh Penguins, who kind of out of it, but could still have some potential here. The Islanders up 3-2 on the Panthers right now. So that's another one that might be worrisome for the Flyers.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, for Montreal Canadiens, Ottawa Senators still up 2-0, the exact same score as Canadiens right now over the Blackhawks. So it looks like the Senators are going to at least be tied with them in points still. I believe Ottawa has a few games in hand, so it's likely that Ottawa will still technically be ahead of them in the standings. So if you're on Team Tank, that's, I think, pretty good news for you.
Yes, I agree with you on that one. It's good news to me.
For sure. So back in-game action here as this starts back up, and the Flyers headed the other way behind Primo's net. And some battling in the corner here. Digging away at it. And the Flyers are going to come away. But Xhekaj ends up getting first to that puck. And it ends up going out to center at the very least. So both teams are going to regroup here. Looks like Philadelphia going for the dump and chase once again. And Arbor Xhekaj plays that off to Slavkovsky. That one comes up to Suzuki. Past the blue line here. And a shot and a goal. It gets called off, though. What a play. What in the world was that?
It's just a shot from Slav and batted in by Suzuki.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, is that a high stick?
I have to see the camera again. It was
Yeah.
that
Oh,
happened too
yeah.
quick.
Yeah. So this is the story of disallowed goals here. So Canadiens connection, 3 disallowed goals in this game. Suzuki this time. So yeah, it's a high stick.
Yeah. Oh
And
yeah.
yeah, just gonna one more look at that because there were 2 swings at it. I wonder if that second one he hit, and he was
The
definitely below
second
the.
one hit. I don't know
That
if it
looks
hit the first one.
okay. That looks below the crossbar to me.
Yeah, it does for sure. That's why, because I got a second view on it, and I'm like,
Yeah,
huh, this could be interesting.
yeah. So it looks like are they reviewing this or is it's gonna stand?
High stick.
Okay, no goal, high sticking. So that's 3 goals called back, 2 goals called back by the Flyers, 1 for the Canadiens. It's just been that kind of game.
Well, they have to be fair, right?
Yeah, I guess so. But just looking at the chat here, Yost chimes in with Flyers are down 3 key defensemen. That's the difference. And I agree. We did talk about that a little bit in the first period. The Flyers with a lot of injuries right now, the wrong time to have the injury bug, and I think that's really affected them. And she chimes in with the "Go Habs Go." So, depending on who you're cheering for, let's hear from you. Less than 9 minutes to go here, and Evans just kind of chops this one into the Flyers' end. I think the Montreal Canadiens are really sitting back here. I think they're really just trying to defend the lead. With apart from that Suzuki disallowed goal, I don't think we've seen much from the Canadiens as they still only have 12 shots on net.
Yeah, I don't think they have a shot this period, to be honest.
Eeks. The one shot gets called back. Wow. So Canadiens Connection chimes in. Don't we all think that there is too much scoring in the NHL? More disallowed goals. Message paid for by the NHL Goalies Union. So appreciate that one, Canadiens Connection. And yeah, I think goal scoring's been way up this season. So yeah. Amy chimes in with both a "Go Habs Go" and a "Let's Go Flyers," and she fights back with a "Go Habs Go."
I love it.
So 8 minutes to go in this period. Now Montreal in the offensive zone here. They get a shot. That's Armia and a nice save by Urson.
Player to watch almost had a goal tonight.
Yeah, it was a good opportunity. Now the Flyers leading shot department 18-12. As to how Montreal is going to win a game where they only have 12 shots on net at this point is kind of crazy.
Yeah.
But wow.
Yeah.
Urson, though, played that pretty well at the top of his crease. He's looking pretty confident. And Matheson with the shot. That one gets saved. A little bit of a scramble in front, but Urson covers that one up. So she chimes in with Amy, it's like having a split personality for you tonight. So, of course, Amy's got a stake on either side here. But do you think we're going to see any more goals here? Do you think we're going to see any more callback goals? Are we going to get to that number 4?
Well, I think I would love to see more goals, but unfortunately, I feel like they're going to get disallowed.
Yeah, that's fair. And Suzuki loses that face-off. That puck goes out of the zone. You know what? I've not seen a ton of Mike Matheson tonight. What have you thought about his game?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. Normally, you'll see. I think he's had like a couple rushes, but normally you'd see him good or bad on either side of the play. Right? Like he's normally noticeable most nights. But tonight, haven't really noticed him like you were saying.
Block shot there by the Philadelphia Flyers, and it looks like Johnson might be kind of hurt. He covers that one up, which is why we got the whistle there. Erik Johnson, I hope he's okay. That was quite the block shot.
Oh, where'd
Oof.
that hit? I was scared of face, but I think it was his
Yeah,
gut.
I was a little bit worried about that. I think that hit him in the midsection, but there's no padding there right on the belly, so
Yeah, no, that doesn't feel nice.
yeah, no. Especially from Caulfield with the shot he has.
Oh, wouldn't want to do that.
So it looks like everyone's okay though. Eric Johnson with a couple of block shots tonight for the Flyers. And the Montreal Canadiens with the puck in the offensive zone. Gallagher gets checked off the puck here, but Montreal hangs on to it. Gallagher's been pretty scrappy tonight. Uh, not producing, but I think he's kind of had an impact as an energy guy at the very least.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. You can see you saw Gallagher, playing the battle or body behind the net, kind of getting in those scrums like you were saying. But ultimately, Gallagher for his in 19 games against the Flyers, he's got 27 points. He loves playing the Flyers throughout his career. So maybe
Nice.
a goal or a point on the board from Gallagher before the end of the period.
And if you're the Philadelphia Flyers, how soon do you think you're going to pull that goaltender? I
Down
know
two
it's
goals.
probably a little early now, but
Yeah, I would say 3 minutes left, especially if you're still down 2 goals. Three,
yeah,
4 minutes left. You gotta play it a little bit, or you just not pull the goalie. But I think Tortorella is gonna pull the goalie with
yeah.
about 3 minutes left.
So we'll look out for that. Canadians Connection chimes in with good news. Suzuki has won 3 faceoffs this period, now 23% in the game. So Suzuki,
Wow.
not as night in the faceoff dot, but of course, a goal and an assist so far, withstanding as the winning goal, the first one of the game on the power play. That's his first ever 30th goal of the season for Nick Suzuki.
I'm wondering who he's losing these faceoffs to. Is it Morgan Frost or Scott Lawton?
Yeah, that's true. So about 6:30 left in the period. Montreal being very conservative, as you can see here, killing as much time as possible. I don't think I've seen a team so slow to try and move the puck out of their zone, and it backfires because they just gave it right away, gave it
Oh,
away to the Flyers, and now the Flyers have some zone time.
nice
Terrible
block.
pass by Savard and a great stop by Primo. Nice block though at the side of the net, and another shot saved by Primo. I think Primo got a little bit of help there.
Yeah, I think that was David Savard again, saving a goal.
Yeah, well, he would have caused that one too. That's the thing. Like terrible giveaway.
Yeah,
I
and then
mean,
when he laid down nice sauce over him, like just a little scramble right there for the Canadians.
yeah, but yeah, I can really tell that the Canadians right now are sitting back. I think they were trying a little bit too hard to kill an extra few seconds there, and David Savard simply, I don't know what that was if he fanned on the pass, but coughing that up way too easily, and then Philadelphia Flyers getting their best chances since the disallowed goals. So, of course, Savard comes back and kind of saves the day as Primo went way out of his net. But yeah, that could have been pretty dangerous.
Yeah, it could have. I think it would have changed the outcome of the game if they would have scored there, because I think they would have, got the pressure on the Canadians to try to keep a goal out.
For sure. And just a little reminder here as we're approaching the end of this third period. If you haven't already and you like our content, hit subscribe. We do plenty of other great content on this channel as well. Make sure to check out the Habs Hockey Report this week, hosted by A.B. Johnson, and the Rocket Hockey Report. We'll show a little bit of a preview of the Rocket Hockey Report after this period. And make sure you stick around too, because we will do a final round. Just a last discussion after the period ends, recap the game, talk about where to go to from now. And that's another great opportunity for all of our viewers to get into the chat and let us know your thoughts along the way. Also, feel free to ask any questions that you have come to your brain. So 2-0 for the Montreal Canadiens. Those 2 goals in the first period standing so far. And the Philadelphia Flyers have tried to come on. They've tried really hard, and both goals got disallowed. Just coming off of probably their best chance of the period, as David Savard coughed up the puck and then managed to get back and block a shot as Cade Primo was way out of his crease after making a nice side save. So this could be an exciting last few minutes. 5 minutes to go in this game.
Yeah, I'm definitely counting on it to be exciting because I don't think the Flyers are going to go down too easy.
Yeah, exactly. We'll see. We'll keep pushing. Canadiens Connection says just 15 shots on goal for the Canadiens. Which player has the most? Caden Gooley with 3 shots. So didn't expect that. So bit of a quirky stat there. I don't think that Caden Gooley has come to mind when I've seen the Canadiens in the offensive zone, at least.
Yeah, no, I didn't. Honestly, I've seen Gooley a little bit of this game, but not as much to see 3 shots from him.
Yeah. Philadelphia buzzing in the offensive zone still. Sanheim out there. And Konechny elects not to shoot, trying to find a better angle. Can't get it, and that goes up and out of the zone. Harvey Pinard's not happy as he drops his stick. Not sure what that was about at all, but Harvey Pinard showing that he's not very happy with Travis Konechny there.
Yeah. Yeah. Still talking.
Okay. Yeah, on the replay there, you can see Konechny very discreetly, accidentally on purpose, knocking the stick out of Harvey Pinard's hand. So I can see why he was a little bit frustrated by that.
Trying to get a call against Harvey Pinard.
Yeah.
Oh, he's still fired up.
So 5:05 remaining here. Tippett has the puck in the offensive zone, circling around the net, sending it back to the point. Now back behind the net. Philadelphia still maintaining control here. Battle in front of Primo there, but Philadelphia can't get anything going. And some aggressive plays there by the Montreal Canadiens to push the Flyers off the puck, now headed back the other way. And turns it over to Tippett. What a bad giveaway once again. And that one goes high and wide. Tippett with a missed shot. So the Montreal Canadiens, with their best effort to try and feed the Philadelphia Flyers a goal, and they cannot do it.
Yeah, I mean, just to go back to that, the aggressive play behind the net, Struble just like big hits to knock that player off was just that's exciting to see.
Yeah. And a shot there from the point from the Philadelphia Flyers. Jaden Struble, I think his strength is a little bit underrated. Like, he's a big boy.
Yeah, he's strong, like especially for a young defenseman, like to be that strong, it's gonna carry him throughout his NHL career for sure.
And Primo being strong at the side of his net keeps that out. Now Flyers on a break, back into the zone. Lots of patience. At the side of the net, wide open. It's blocked. It looks like Savard saves the goal there.
Yeah, I don't even know what happened there.
Oh, man. Primo has all the horseshoes in his pads tonight. Like,
wow.
Barabee with the shot. Primo sprawling and manages to keep that out. And Evans tackling a Philadelphia Flyers player to the ground here. Scrum ensues.
Wow.
Behind the net. This was quite the sequence. What exactly did I just watch there?
It's like, how did the puck stay out of the net? What's going on?
Yeah. And oh my gosh. It hits the post. Farabee can't get a clean shot on it. Savard's there blocking it. Oh my gosh. That is a crazy moment there at the side of the net as David Savard pushes the puck away from the crease.
What a crafty little play though to try to get that over to him.
Yeah. So, as Canadiens Connection says, 4-on-4 with Evans and Garnett Hathaway in the box. So, some more 4-on-4 hockey. It was pretty exciting when it happened earlier in the game. And the Philadelphia Flyers knowing that there's 3 minutes and 21 seconds left here. Are we going to see an extra man?
I think we should in around this time. Oh, I think they did pull the goalie.
Okay, perfect. So Amy Johnson chimes in with the amount of highway robbery for the Flyers tonight. They'll remember that when these teams meet again in a week or two. Absolutely. I mean, the Flyers deserve such a better fate at this point in the game. It's not over, though.
Yeah.
Empty
Well,
net for the Flyers, though. In the offensive zone. Lots of space, shot, and stop by Primo.
Well, regardless how this game plays out, the next game against the Flyers, I could see the Flyers being just more heavy hitting, more opportunity, because I feel like they're going to be still fighting for that playoff spot.
Oh, for sure. And just another reminder here, coming up pretty soon on April the 2nd, we have another live stream watch along as the Canadiens take on the Panthers. So if you like the physical game, that's going to be a good one to watch. Matthew Tkachuk, along with the whole entire Florida Panthers team. That'll be fun.
Yeah.
And Montreal gets the empty net there.
Oh.
That's Yoel Armia, looks like.
Yeah.
So my player to watch gets on the board, 3-0 Montreal. It didn't take them too long with the empty net there. And yeah, the Canadiens up 3-0 now.
Matheson being a good sport, he could have taken that shot for sure and just gave that up to Yoel Armia. So
yeah, I think credit to Matheson winning that battle, bringing it out past the blue line with speed, and Armia making no mistake hitting that empty net. Are we going to call this one back?
Yeah.
That is, yeah. Are we going to get a challenge or something to try and call this back, you think, or is this going to stand?
No, I think Torts is just it's gonna let it stand, but he doesn't look too happy, that's for sure.
For sure. So some more 4-on-4 hockey here. Less than 3 minutes to go. 3-0 Montreal. Montreal only 16 shots on the night. Philadelphia up to 25 at this point. And Philadelphia coming the other way. They have to get something in this game. They're unable to get a shot. Poke check and Suzuki the other way. Odd man rush. Behind the net, backhand. Urson way out of the net, but Suzuki can't finish it. The other way. And Philadelphia can't connect on the passes. Montreal coming back the other way. Easy shot sent wide. Urson with a stop.
Good to see Martin and St. Louis put the fourth line guys out there to give them some extra time on the ice, especially with a 3-0 lead.
Yeah, they had a couple good sequences. I think in that second period, the fourth line had a very good sequence where they hemmed the Flyers in their own zone. So, Philadelphia Flyers, it's just so unfortunate. I keep saying it, but I feel bad for the Flyers. Like, they weren't bad in this game. I don't think they deserve to be down 3-0 at this point.
Yeah, I do agree with you on that one. It sucks, especially when you put up 28 shots on net and you got no goals and low scoring chances. I mean, it's tough. It's a tough pill to swallow for the Flyers for sure.
For sure. And just a little reminder here is there's less than 2 minutes to go in the period. We have a post-game show, the last round. Make sure you stick around. We'll talk about the game. We'll talk about where we're at after this game and still have a lot of fun with that. So make sure you stick around for the last round. So still 4-on-4, and Philadelphia pulls the goalie once again. Minute 30 to go. Missed shot. Now the Flyers at their own blue line, at the Montreal blue line, rather. 6-on-5 as the penalties are over. That one missed. Tippett hangs onto the puck. That one holds in the zone. There's Konechny now. And Tippett with a shot. Goal for the Flyers. So, I think the Flyers have a goal.
I don't think it's getting called back.
Yeah, I don't know. Was there another offside or something? I think it's going to be 3-1 here. So the Flyers finally get past Primo. And
What a
Canadians
shot.
Connection asks, who said shutout? That was
I
close at
might
the
have
blue
said it.
line too, with Tippett holding it in, right?
Yeah, that was just a crazy shot by Tippett. Yeah, they had 4 guys just sitting there. Montreal had 4 guys in front of the net trying to box those 2 guys out.
Yeah.
Just a nice shot.
It looks like there's a timeout called there by the Flyers. And yeah, well executed by the Flyers. On the replay, it looked like the puck almost went out of the zone, but Tippett held it in. Good passing sequence and great shot, like you said there. So your player to watch gets on the board as well.
Yeah, hey, look at that.
So for those asking who said shutout, it was Yost that chimed in and said shutout. So it was, yeah, the curse right there.
Yeah. Sorry, Primo. It's all good though.
Yeah, Primo's had a pretty solid game. I think bailed out a few times in this period. No shutout, but he'll likely be on his way to another win, which is good for him at this point in the game, especially against the Philadelphia Flyers.
Yeah, man. It's great for his confidence too, right? Like just padding up those NHL wins and finding the way that works best for him in net. Seems to be finding that way quite easily right now.
For sure. So less than a minute to go. Empty net again for the Flyers. It's the 3rd time they've emptied that net, and we'll see where we end up. 40 seconds left. Philadelphia gets past the blue line, now behind the Montreal net, and there's a nice battle going on. Matheson takes a flip to the point. Cam York holds that one in behind the net. Forrester at the side there along the boards. Less than 20 to go. Philadelphia is going to want to get going here. 10 seconds to go. Montreal has the puck now, and they're going to take it past the blue line. Opportunity for an empty net. And it goes in. 4-1.
There it is.
3 seconds left. Evans with the empty netter. So
good for Evans to be able to get on the score sheet.
Absolutely. So she with a yay Habs. So Habs on their way to a win here. This could be Caden Primo's 8th win of the season, improving his record to 8-7-2. 3.1 seconds left. And the Canadians, well, it wasn't pretty. They have less than 20 shots on goal. Almost doubled as the Flyers had 30 shots to Montreal's 16. Wow. And the Montreal Canadiens win this 4-1 with 2 empty net goals. So you'll take it if you're the Montreal Canadiens. Their record now 28, 32, and 12. That's 68 points. And that was quite the game. Brian Clark chimes in with a clears throat 4-1. It's not how you draw it up, but they managed to do it. And we'll get to the last round here. We appreciate you all sticking around with us. So it's the last round as the Montreal Canadiens beat the Philadelphia Flyers 4-1. And Nathan, can you just sum up what I just witnessed tonight? What a kooky affair.
Yeah, I mean, it was kind of, from the Philadelphia's perspective, it was kind of a roller coaster game for them. They had their great moments at the beginning, and then, they had a bunch of goals disallowed. And third period, they're bringing on the pressure, and just they had good things and bad things. But overall, you gotta give some credit to the Montreal Canadiens, who the last 3 games have found a way to play good defense to try to take away some opportunities. yeah, I mean, they did get lucky with some calls that were called off, but I mean, I feel that, from the Montreal Canadiens standpoint, they're starting to find something that works. I don't want to say an identity, but finding something that works for them in the current moment. But for the Philadelphia Flyers, I do feel for them. If you take those 2 empty net goals away, be a 2-1 score, or, even if get one of those goals that weren't disallowed, it'd be a tie game. We could be going to overtime right now. So, I mean, it's the like you were saying, it's not how we drew it up. It wasn't pretty, but the Montreal Canadiens got the win.
Yeah, that's absolutely correct. Quick recap of that last period from Rick Stevens, Rocket Sports on Twitter. Make sure you're following at Rocket Sports for live tweeting. The final is Habs beat Flyers 4-1. CH goals coming from Suzuki, his 30th of the season. Jesse Ullinen, his 4th. Armia, his 13th, an empty netter. And Jake Evans with his 6th, also an empty netter. Next game is versus Carolina. They'll be visiting Montreal on Saturday at 7 p.m. It'll be a fun affair. And just so you all know, we'll want you to head over to thn.com/Montreal. On there, you will find today's game recap. So make sure you check that out. We have all sorts of other great content on there. So thn.com/Montreal. Make sure you're following at Rocket Sports on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Plus, check out our Saturday podcast, The Canadiens Connection, at canadiensconnection.fm. Quite the game. This one got started in the first period. I think that first period is really what held up as the difference here, as Nick Suzuki got things started with that power play goal about 12 minutes and 58 seconds into this one. Jesse Ullinen 4 minutes later to put the Habs up 2-0. No scoring in the second, but 17 minutes into the third period, Yoel Armia with the empty netter. Owen Tippett strikes back about a minute later with his 7th of the season. This is by Hathaway and Konechny. But at the very end of the game, 3 seconds left, Jake Evans puts in a goal to end this one. So quite the weird affair. I'd just be curious to hear people's thoughts. So you still have time to interact with us and let us know what you think about this game. And honestly, this was a fun night to watch with everyone too. I'm glad we got to do this game out of all the games that we could have done, and we appreciated watching with you all. Just a quick second before we get into the game recap a little bit more. While you're on this channel and while you're hanging out with us, make sure you check out some of the other content on this channel, as Amy Johnson hosts a couple shows throughout the week, the Habs Hockey Report, but also the Rocket Hockey Report. If you have not heard, 5th overall pick from last draft, David Reinbacher joined the Laval Rocket. And here's a little clip of the Rocket Hockey Report, hosted by Amy Johnson, talking about David Reinbacher.
Now we have the arrival of David Reinbacher. This created a ton of buzz this past weekend in the Montreal market, not just with the media, but with fans as well. I mean, I think it's indicative of how hungry this market and fan base are for these next big, fingers crossed, stars that are going to help take the Montreal Canadiens to the next level in terms of getting back to contending for a Stanley Cup. And David Reinbacher, I think, represents one of those pieces of the puzzle.
So, of course, if you want to learn a little bit more about David Reinbacher, check out that episode alongside Patrick Williams on this YouTube channel, and make sure that you hit subscribe if you like what you saw. So that will be a great post-game snack for you if you want to check that one out. Back a little bit to our post-game recap here. The last round, looking in the chat, Canadiens Connection says, quirky stat, Owen Tippett's late third period goal was the first goal given up by Caden Primo at Bell Center since November 30th. So probably attributes more to Caden Primo just not playing very often at Bell Center more than anything. But, credit to Primo. I think that he had a couple of good periods there, and if you're not going to be good, you better be lucky, and that Caden Primo certainly was.
Yep.
So, in your opinion, was there a real turning point in this game?
To be honest, I think it has to be those disallowed goals. And the reason why I say that is because the Flyers came out in the second period, in the second and third period with some step, and they obviously had some goals disallowed, whether it was offsides or kicking motion. So I think with those goals being disallowed, it really took the wind out of their sails and didn't allow them really to get anything until late in that third period by Owen Tippett.
Yeah, I think that's fair too. The Flyers felt like they were very much in the game up until those two disallowed goals. Even then, they kept battling, but you could see that there was a span of about 5 minutes where the passes just were not connecting for the Flyers after those two disallowed goals. And yeah, I think that really affected them mentally, unfortunately. And good for them for sticking with it. Good for them for finally getting a goal right at the end of the game. I guess a little bit too little, too late. But for me, this isn't necessarily the Flyers were bad. I think that the Montreal Canadiens capitalized when they had to. And I think that the Flyers they need to. Well, I keep saying horseshoe analogy. What else is a lucky thing? I don't know. They need a 4-leaf clover for their next game or something, because that's the worst luck I've ever seen a team have in a hockey game.
Yeah, maybe a new pregame ritual.
Yeah, someone did not stick to their superstitious rituals. So, in your mind, what do you think goes down as the worst play of the game?
Worst play of the game? I would have to say, it would have to be, I don't know, probably the penalties that the Philadelphia Flyers were taking. I know some of them could have been avoided. I know Montreal didn't. They scored on the first power play, but if they didn't have that penalty, if they didn't take that penalty, then Suzuki probably wouldn't have that goal, and the game could have been a little bit of a different start. I wouldn't say maybe a different ending, but definitely a different start for sure.
For sure. For me, I have to go back to David Savard giveaway in his own zone that led to a bunch of Philadelphia Flyers scoring chances. At that point, I saw 3 Montreal Canadiens behind their own blue line, just kind of standing there and being patient, and a little bit too patient. I can understand trying to kill time off the clock, but David Savard taking that extra few moments, allowing some forecheckers to get into the zone here, and then coughing up the puck almost immediately. I don't know who he was trying to pass to, but giving it right to the Flyers. And I think that gave Flyers a little bit more life. If that didn't happen, I don't think the Flyers would have gotten back in the game at all. I think that the moment David Savard coughed that up, the Flyers realized, okay, we have a little bit more juice in us. We can keep going. And luckily for the Canadiens, being able to get those 2 empty netters, that was great. But you kind of alluded to it. This could have gone very different if it wasn't for those empty netters. And I mean, imagine if the Flyers scored off of that giveaway, that could have been detrimental. So for me, David Savard gets the worst play of the game, but also the best play of the game because he made a couple of key block shots towards the end there. So full credit to David Savard, and not credit to David Savard. But I already kind of skipped ahead a bit. But do you have a play of the game that?
I'm gonna give out just a happy thing out for Yessi Alonen for scoring a goal tonight, and actually turned out to be the game winner. So him being able to put the puck in the net is good for him and good for the Montreal Canadiens.
Absolutely. So we'll stick around here for just a couple more minutes. So if you have anything that you wanted to put in the chat, we'd love to hear your thoughts on that game. In your mind, what is the best and what is the worst play of the game? We'll wait to hear from you. In the meantime, though, please do look out for our live stream on this channel, April 2nd. Make sure you hit subscribe here. Hit the notification bell, too. That way you don't miss out on any of the great content that we have on this YouTube channel. And last thing I want to hear from you, Nathan. As tradition, I see there's a light behind you. Let's get a tour of Nathan's setup. You have a ton of Montreal Canadiens stuff.
All right, awesome. Yeah, I'll definitely give a tour. So for everyone that does not or hasn't seen my tour or my room before, I have a Montreal Canadiens flag. I added a nice little Montreal Canadiens light. Got my 2 lawn gnomes. I have a Ken Dryden hockey card that's signed by him. I have a Maurice Richard poster, leadership, kind of the qualities that build leadership. And then I'll just kind of, I got some jerseys and some other stuff hanging up there. And I have a Stanley Cup champions banner. And then just some more Montreal Canadiens stuff hanging around over there. So got quite the collection. I want to build more off it, but hopefully I'll have something else for the next stream.
Yeah, love your new addition with the light behind you. Looks great in there, and love always doing those tours. With that, I think that will be it for us tonight. Once again, Montreal Canadiens beat the Philadelphia Flyers 4-1, and quite an interesting game. Thank you all for joining us here. Make sure you look out for the post-game recap at thn.com/Montreal. Also, make sure that you're following us on social media at Rocket Sports, and check out the Saturday podcast, Canadiens Connection, at canadiensconnection.fm. With that, we are Rocket Sports, your inside link to the Montreal Canadiens.